And but before we say hello, YouTube, I think we should inform YouTube that YouTube, there's a limited edition shirt now up on my merch store that you can purchase if you like. It's only going to be up there for a month, so get it while it still exists. Anyway, now that I'm done shilling to the people on YouTube, what I'll say is that if you want to find out if you're currently in a civil war, there's a pretty easy way to actually do that. I'll show you. Pretty easy way to do that. You from the future that will probably never see this. Yeah, touche. Buy my merch or don't. Like, true story. Buy my merch or don't. It's totally acceptable if you don't. I will forgive you. It's just like subscribe to this channel on Twitch or don't. Like, you know, perfectly legitimate. So if you click on this button, right, and you go to civilizations, and you hover over your own faction, if it says offerings from, like this, terror and vengeance, exports to is terror and offerings from is vengeance. If it says that, it means you're at war. And then you have the civil war issue. If you do not have that over your own faction, then that's not the issue. So generally, my assumption is if things are not arriving, it usually means that they're just not able to make it to where you are. Yay. Alter Ego, thank you very, very much for the 3rd month. Welcome back. So yeah, that's kind of the current status of things. When it comes to figuring out who's at war with you or not. I think that this fort just needs to kind of do cleanup for a bit. We kind of got clothing everywhere. There's a lot of unowned stuff just like ending up on the ground. And we're still doing fancy stuff with water. We've got a pool over here now, which is kind of lovely. Although we're running into a problem over here. As you might notice. So kind of gotta deal with that, I think. It's getting a little ambitious with where the water's flowing, shall we say. So I think we need to fix this. Like that. So that's that. We need to fix that. We need to fix that. So I'm going to try and fix this so that it stops flooding, which it currently is, because I thought that I blocked this upper layer off, but apparently I didn't. So the beauty of this is I actually have a limited amount of time before this just starts to flood indefinitely. So this is priority number 1, is fixing this. I noticed this right at the end of... Oh, hi, Esm. That's not great. Anyway, so yeah, that got a little bit much. I wasn't really expecting it to fill up that much, but I suppose it did. Because I thought that would like make it flow slow enough that it just wouldn't overflow. Realistically, we only need to remove this is kind of the actual issue here. So, I need another drain for this. Because it's just filling too quickly. Things like this over here, I could just run over here and do this. This will probably help a little bit, but probably won't help enough. Then we also over here, well, this one's not even making it to the end, which is kind of incredible. This one over here, if I just dig out this spot right here, will have a similar effect. So I'm just going to ask them to cut out this and then dig out that. And hopefully that will fix this issue slightly. Because, like I said, this is currently a bit of an ambitious creek. And I wish it would be less ambitious with its, whooshability, shall we say. Another thing that I'm going to do is maybe just put a wall here. Let's see if I can. There we go. Let's just kind of start building a wall there and just kind of hope that we can kind of contain it on this side a little bit so it stops flooding. And then I guess here I could just start digging down a little bit and like widening this, which would also be totally okay. But once again, just a little bit suboptimal. just a wee bit suboptimal, the amount of water kind of flowing out here. So let's read out the names of the dwarves that are alive right now in the fort, and if you hear your name called out, I will take a look at how your dwarf is doing. All the way up there at the top, apparently, if I sort just by like professions, I guess, was Zwari, but Avuz, the vampire, 404 not found, a devilish potato, Acre, ball of lint, blind, blood Odin, broccoli, bunch of rocks, casual elephant, chow not found, blood, cold-blooded, I want to say blood-blooded, cold-blooded commander honk, deep fried mango, diamond destruct, Dr. Linden, Elfie bean, FG squared, Frazier, freehold Boreas, heart of the tiger, who's pissed, I am Dryston, Insulina Sama, it's Gaius, Jazz, Jelly Belly, Jerry Gord, Joe True. Hold on, did I rename all of the military dwarves, or am I going crazy? I don't think I did. Because I know that a bunch of them lost their names, but weird. Anyway, Laegushka, McJerby, Merlin Buff, Moo Clown, Neff, Earless Old Zwari, Pigawatts, which is a very fun name to say, Pai Jamang, and as well as a second Pai Jamang, so I guess there's 2 Pai Jamangs, which is concerning.
Apparently, I've been here for 3 months. Happy day.
Happy 3rd month.
Not a prince anymore.
You're not a prince, which is sad day. But thank you very much for the 3rd month, and welcome back, friend. Rave, Rumble, Redbug, Rex, Rock Jitsu, Ruby, Squeakbird, Raikaloo, Sentient Potato, Salty Tempest, Sniper, Sterlonian, Stylonitis, Tacriel, and Tellin Artho, who's not a prince, Thok Don't Think, and True Freak, Umbra Eterna, Urist, McFinnigan, Zed Sticks are all of the dwarves in the fort currently. You are green happy. You are very green happy. You're like about as happy as you can get. Although all you really do is hang out in the hospital and chat with people. So you were yelled at by an unhappy worshiper, and you were very empathetic. Oh, also you're a religious person, so you get yelled at by unhappy worshipers. It's kind of hysterical. You're stoked to be cleaning fish. I don't know where we're getting fish to clean, but anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the current process. Is I need to remove this from the concern screen. Only seen one forgotten beast, and it's weird since you're near other civs, though. Well, I mean, if they're not at war with you, then there's no reason for them to attack you, right? They'll only attack you if they're at war with you. You are, in fact, alive, Zwari. You are not dead. You are still the mayor, and you are still earless. Old earless Zwari. In fact, if it makes you feel a little bit better, I will give you this fancy crown. See, you're not dead. In fact, I just gave you a fancy crown. I'm going to go read a very long word story. It's going to take a while. So hold on while I scroll up. Actually, chat, should I read the whole word story, or should I just read half the word story? Because this is going to be 10. Well, maybe not that much. Actually, hold on. When did I last stream? I last streamed on the 23rd. Okay, so 23rd. This might be a bit. This might be a bit long. All right. It could scream, which is disturbing. Attacking old elves with babies on their bed may induce tantrums. Furthermore, feathers can fly like fluttering fireflies, which causes enormous falsities, and soup is weirdly solid when frozen. Speed kills. Relativistic physics don't contribute to dwarves' ability on booze to ignite big fires during performances. Footlockers cause storage to run out of deodorant. Elephants can't draw dwarves with accuracy because they lack index toes. This tragic turn of wheel squished remaining gremlins if elephants elevate airplanes. Eleanor elects eruptions and earthquakes fart evil. This demands a price for snow. Or show, not snow. Or show. Regrettably, the penguins already knew kerning. This lazy troll jumps hoops instead of taking bureaucracy and economics of enterprise. Where do we go after the truck-kun impact? Nobody enjoys being an imposter for fools. Water. All right, let's keep digging. Alright, let's also get all of this blocked here. I think I will just simply block that, and that should do it. Start making so much sense when a third of the people using my Discord went AFK or left the server. Less cooks in the kitchen means it's possible to make more coherent sentences. And I would honestly say you guys do a very good job making coherent sentences when you put your minds to it. This kind of sucks that some of the water got all the way up in here, but it is what it is. Anonymous gifter, thanks for chucking out a gift. I don't even know what tune that's supposed to be to. Ruby? I feel like I should know that. Sounds like a challenge. It sounds like something. Yep, get over there. All right, so someone was saying after we did that legend. So the last time I streamed, I did some legends, right? And we discovered it. Well, maybe not discovered. That's maybe the wrong word. We read a few things about our king. We found out that the king of this faction, who's a goblin, by the way, actually got the throne in a successful coup. Okay, so our king is a criminal, should I say? Who kind of cheated his way into having our throne, and also is a goblin. And is currently trying to obtain the crown for several other factions as well. Seems to be a very ambitious sort, including, like, using his father as one of the people to, like, get the throne. And also, you know that vampire that we have in this fortress and the whole zero kill thing? Turns out actually, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kills. So our vampire is very much the opposite of zero kill in reality, which is kind of funny. But big fan of the zero kill thing, regardless of if it's a bug or not. It's just really funny. It's not criminal if the coup is successful. Based on our king's history, I would say that our king is a criminal. So I'm kind of tempted to, like, try and get the king in my fort and then just, like, set him on fire or something. Because frankly, he probably deserves it. But I don't know. I haven't fully decided what I want to do with the king just yet. Although I've given nothing to the, it's an Adult Swim show called Too Many Cooks. I don't think I've ever even heard of that. My entire, like, knowledge of Adult Swim is, like, 2 or 3 very short, like, robot chicken clips. And that's about it, would be my knowledge of that show. So we dug down to here in the last episode. And I'd say that this is a pretty interesting spot because there's actually, like, a fun spire right here, which is kind of cool. And also, you'll notice that there's a lot of undead Crundles down here. Like, a lot of undead Crundles. There's also a lot of ashes there. So there was something with fire down here in the past. I kind of want to poke my little eyeballs around a few other places down here because I would like to see what other sorts of locations are down here. We also dug down to here. And while I was recording things the other day, I realized that instead of making green glass blocks, I actually queued up clear glass blocks, which I think clear glass requires pearl ash, right? Which requires wood. So theoretically, I could start making pearl ash, and we could Ghost? Captain Orange is Ghost. Right. Hold on. Was that a Lolar, I think? Oh, slab's already engraved. I just need to place it. Let me go do that. Are any others? Nope. Okay. You mined your first candy today? Ooh. So I'm just gonna check and see how many logs I actually have sitting around. Is orchestrating a coup of his own false goblin king? Kind of thinking about it. Although here's the thing, right? You might show up in my fort and I might be like, man, I like this guy, and then nah. So I do actually have a decent amount of wood logs sitting in the fort right now. So I'm thinking about just making like, I mean, how many blocks do I even have queued up? I have 130. Let's do 130 pearl ash. Make Pearlash? Pearlash? However the hell you say it. We're gonna make Pearlash. Whatever that crap is. We're gonna make that stuff. And then that stuff is, I think. Now I'm just questioning myself. Is Pearlash made at the Ashery? Or is Pearlash made at somewhere else? Because I think it's made at the Ashery. Which I always forget which one that is. This thing. Is it the kiln? Is it both? I don't know. Oh, apparently I need an empty barrel for that. Let's make a... Make a sterling silver barrel. Gnome? What about gnome? What's up, though? Fat Gome boss? I read that as gnome, not Gome. It's made from potash. Your face is made from potash. Yeah, that checks out. But also, thank you for the full run through. I would have, like, I usually reverse engineer these things is usually how I remind myself how to do that. But potash. I think I have a... Do I have a kiln sitting around? I know I made one. I may have actually gotten rid of it because I was making plaster, which I needed the kiln for. But I'm actually going to make a magma kiln, I think, because... To heck with... Yeah. To heck with any other... Or using more charcoal than I need to. What, people saying gnome instead of gome? Well, I mean, to be fair, your name is the first instance of the word gome I've ever seen, so... Probably be... And my knee-jerk response is to say because you probably made it up, but... It's also hard to say. I don't actually know if you did. You might have, but you might not have. You're ecstatic that Putnam is improving performance? I mean, that's literally Putnam's job, right? Is like performance and bug fixes. And like searching down bugs that Tarn either doesn't know how to look for or doesn't know to look for or just doesn't want to. So that is literally why they brought on Putnam, is like as somebody to work on bugs. Where's my furnaces? Magma kiln, there you are. That little kiln. Kind of don't like any of these locations, but we'll put it right there. Make you out of gabbro, because I think that's what I made those others out of. Yep. We're also making tons of green glass corkscrews. What's up, Sonata? How's things?
Crypt beer.
Preoct. Thank you very much for the 3rd month. Welcome back. So yeah, that's going to get us some clear glass, which I think is going to look pretty cool. Because I kind of want to do some stuff with clear glass up on the surface. Because I think that could be a bit of fun. The mug got here on Sunday. It's so awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Glad the mug will be serving you well for many seasons to come. I'm glad people have been enjoying the mug though. That's just nice. Also got some rough yellow diamonds down here, which I should probably do something with. So chat room, how's your week been? I mean, it's been a minute since I spoke with any of you. The last time I was outside of in chat rooms and such, during the recent videos that I've premiered. It's been a little bit. What have you guys been up to? It's been pretty gone. That's pretty good. Good to hear. I don't know what that means, but something else that we started is I'm digging out this, and this is what I'm going to be working on immediately off the bat, is this right here. This, well, turns out there's a big old aquifer right here, which is going to be fun. It's also quite deep. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 layers deep. So we're going to be digging through that right now. And this is going to be fun. So we're going to channel down 1 whole layer and then smooth around it. Channel down, smooth around it. Channel down, smooth around it. Should be pretty quick. You've been throwing a monkey wrench into the work for the past week? Oh, what, the snow has been? Yeah, I mean, if you do any kind of outdoor work or work that requires transporting stuff from place to place, I believe it.
You are the Carrere des Bois of my coffee. I can't get enough of you.
That's a sentence. But I'm happy to be able to help give you a place to place your coffee. Yeah, this is just, it's just gonna be a process, this. A Vile Force of Mug has been ordered? Hell yeah. The other thing that, we've also worked on recently is we've gotten a bunch more of these guild halls set up, but it's been a challenge to actually get them valuable enough to be recognized as actual guild halls. So I'm just going to kind of keep throwing statues and stuff into them and random engravings and things until they just kind of accept them, because god damn it, it's been a challenge. And they're refusing to accept them as guild halls. So I'm trying. Turns out playing this with hard economy is actually kind of hard. Also, we have Big Tux, who apparently currently is wallowing in misery, which is unfortunate. But we have Big Tux, who's a giant penguin, and we also have Puffy the Vampire Slayer. I think both of the names are pretty great, but they both could be better. I'm actually going to remove both Puffy and Big Tux from their cages in a moment here, and see if I can't make them a little bit less sad. See, it's free upon being released. We're gonna do the same with you over here, Big Tux, who is also currently chained. But getting them both released and allowing them to, at the very least, just hang out here will probably help them out a little bit. And also, chat, can I get a round of beers for Bucket Glass, keeping that Prime subscription alive for a 2nd month? You've been pretty good working on refactoring an algorithm the past week, and you finished it today? Hell yeah, dude. I don't know what that, well, I mean, I know what that means, but I have no idea what that involves, but hopefully it's been a not too difficult process. So your fort was able to get aluminum from the mountain home because you were exporting 20k in silver hammers a year. Damn! And you got a capital at the start of year 6. And now it's a little sad. Why is it a little sad? What's sad about getting the capital at the start of year 6? I would say that that's kind of a massive victory, if nothing else. Okay, so we're working on Ash. Pearl Ash hasn't begun yet. Chat, you... I guess I need to reverse engineer this again. Rolling up. What was the process for Potash at Ashry, Pearl Ash at Kiln? It's clearly not at a kiln. Unless I'm missing a step. Or a material. Oh, because no more aluminum in trade caravans. Well, what you could do is you could go harass some of the other factions and demand tributes and see if any of them... Because you have diplomats, right? It's very high value. Pocket glass. Very high value. Very, 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 very high value. Like, extremely high value. Can you make it? Nope. It's something. It's a metal ore. You have to mine it, so it has to be on your map. Also, something that I've noticed about this save, because I did some recording of this particular save for for the interview with Putnam, and the thing that's confused me now is apparently making hard saves and save quitting to the main menu takes like 10 minutes. I don't know why. Yes, my saves are not yes my saves are not compressed. But I don't know why this is. The game just kind of stops responding and it just takes forever. It just kind of started happening and is still doing that. So, not super thrilled about that. Which is funny. It actually takes longer to save this particular save file than it does to save my 2,000-year-old save file. DF reinstall time? I'd rather not. I don't see what that would do. That's not how the game works, because every other save file I have installs or saves normal speed. It's literally just this one. So it's not like I have like a billion mods or something stupid running. So. Oh, I see what I see the part that I'm missing. So they're making Okay, so they're making ash and then they'll make the potash. I get it. And then they'll make it into pearl ash. I don't think so. I don't think demons breeding would do something like that. My guess is that it's probably it's probably just something going on in the world that is very save intensive. No, he didn't. Sorry. He's been snapping in and out of it. He made an artifact a while ago. Dwarves that make artifacts don't actually die that way. So if they've made If they've made an artifact, they can't die by simply going insane. They will always pop back out. Goblin and another goblin. I also like to get to the point where I'm no longer just hiding underground from these critters, so... Yes and no. I mean, like, there's a pretty famous video from ages ago of a much older version of the game where somebody had a fortress that the only way into the fortress was by taking a minecart, which would launch you into the fort. But not really, because dwarves don't acknowledge minecarts as pathing at all. They consider it to be like a form of item transport, not a form of dwarf transport. So not really. It's sort of like how in Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's really frustrating because they consider transport rides to just be a ride. They don't consider it to be a format of transport. Also, to encourage dwarves to go into the library a little bit more, I think I'm going to put a couple of tables and a couple of chairs and make a little dining room in here. And we'll make a little dining hall. Jeez. And then right down here, we'll do food stockpile for food and drinks. Actually, let's just do prepared meals and drinks. Yeah, except here's the thing, right? I loaded the save up with DF hack, and there's basically none. There's basically none because you see how it's not easy or hard, it's custom. I've basically nuked them from existence. I mean, like, cavern dwellers will spawn in extraordinarily low numbers, but they are trivial. And I've done that intentionally because, frankly, I just don't like dealing with them. So, yeah, no, that could be a cause, but I don't think so. I mean, some people have already figured it out, but what do you think that the skull emote and all the skull branding I have is based on? If not Mr. Bones and Mr. Bones' Wild Ride that everybody wants to get off of. It's literally that meme is my channel's branding. The guy that, like, publicly dislikes memes, whose entire branding is based off of a third-rate meme from fucking 4chan of all places. I mean, it's very easy to get on and stay on this ride. Simply subscribe to twitch.tv/BLINDIRL. And, like, I'm not joking about, like, that being a third-rate meme. It's a pretty, it's a pretty bottom-barrel meme. Is there the best defense to Forgotten Beasts? 500 cave well. Oh yeah. That's a negative. In an undead biome. Also, the other part about saving in this map is it's weird because it only happens during hard saves. So, like, major saves. So if I were to, like, name a save file or go out to the main menu or, like, exit and quit to the main menu, then I would get that. But it doesn't happen in any other saving. Like, saving normally is just fine. Which is also weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's just concerned. It's a primal, visceral meme with the ride never ends. I used to stream a whole lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon to the point where I'm kind of low-key planning a subathon. I'm thinking about, like, if we hit a certain sub number, I'll do a Roller Coaster Tycoon stream. Because there is certain part... This doesn't quite so much go for the more recent people who've piled onto this channel, but for people who've been around a while, that's kind of really... something that a lot of people quite enjoy when I do it. Because it is the thing that built this channel back in the day. Friggin' Roller Coaster Tycoon. The looks I used to get from people at conventions, like work conventions for streams, when people would be like, so what do you do when, like, you know, some networking event? And I'll be like, well, you know, I stream old modded PC games. They're like, oh, you mean like Half-Life? It's like, well, like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Everybody always like assumed it was like source mods and shit, or like DayZ and stuff like that when I said modded PC games. It's just kind of a nightmare. What, you still think like Valve style games when people say modded PC games? Human caravan has arrived. All right, so time to get the wait, what? No, it's time to get this squad stationed up here, and pull this lever, and oh boy, You know what? Let's just do footwear. Because I've seen a lot of socks just lying around. And just sell all footwear that we have. Ideally, it'll search for the damage. Actually, no, I'm not even going to search for damage. I'm just going to do footwear. And all of the handwear. All the pigtail hoods. It's kind of nice how slowly the materials for your clothing just start to get more and more and more straightforward. I've definitely had forts where, like, by the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, the only thing that's still left in the fort is just the stuff that I'm making. You're so over clothing. I love the way clothing works in Dwarf Fort. I love micromanaging clothing. Apparently it irritates some people. I'm not one of those people. I really, really, really like the way clothing management works in Dwarf Fort. I mean, I got this. Don't ask me how a skeleton cries, but... Here's socks! Night, Bastet. But they just leave crap everywhere if you don't have 18 cabinets per dwarf. You should never need 18 cabinets per dwarf. Each dwarf should need 1 cabinet. Maybe 2. The problem is if you start stacking up cabinets for each dwarf, what they're going to start doing is they'll decide, I want to put this sock into this cabinet. And then they'll be like, actually, no, I want it in this cabinet. And then they'll be like, actually, how about no? I actually changed my mind. I want it in this cabinet. And they'll just kind of start like looping their stuff from place to place. So you don't actually want to give them like infinite cabinets to store all of their stuff, and then just sell the stuff that's left outside. The stuff that's like left on the floors loses its ownership after a bit, and you can just sell it. So you just sell it. And it's generally one of your biggest exports. I mean, used clothing is huge for humans on Earth, so why not for dwarves? No, see, here's the thing. If a dwarf is leaving stuff on the floor, it doesn't matter if you give them infinite cabinets. Some dwarves are just messy. So one of the like hidden stats that dwarves can have is being messy, right? If you have a lot of messy dwarves in your fort, yeah, you're just gonna have shit everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. Like it doesn't matter how many cabinets you give them. If you just have messy dwarves, you will just have shit everywhere. So, like, if you actually, like, go read their personalities, sometimes there's things like, he's very messy and he will leave things strewn about without a care. Or you'll see, like, he's sometimes messy, or he can leave his things strewn about and stuff like that, which is generally, like, the game telling you, oh, yeah, this dwarf's just gonna make a mess. And, like, I know this is kind of, like, is that a penguin? It's a penguin! It's a little penguin! What the fuck? I've never seen specifically a little penguin. What? Why is it? Is that a specific type of penguin? Or is it like a penguin child? I can't. It's a wild animal. I need it to step in a cage trap, but like, it's a different species? Today I fucking learned. I want to see an undead little penguin now. That's adorable. Cage it? I have plenty of cages, but I'll place more. Turns out they're pretty good at avoiding them. I completely got derailed. What was I talking about? Messy dwarves. So dwarves can what's the word? Dwarves have like they develop the tendencies and the things that their parents did, right? The jobs that they get and the tasks that they go about doing is whatever their parents did. So if you have a dwarf that's like very messy, right? Then I was gonna put an ashery here and then I didn't. That was another thing I was gonna do. So if they have parents that are very and I need empty barrels. That's why I didn't make the ashery yet. If their parents are both very messy, then their kids are going to be messy. And I've ended up with whole factions where I swear that like every single dwarf is messy. So, you know. For a second there, I thought that you were saying that the penguins were all a bunch of MAGA, Make America Great Again enthusiasts, and I was slightly concerned, but I understand what you're saying now. Turns out, like, a dude's last name is just, like, completely ruined the use of a word without, like, me having to read it twice. We need giant little penguins. I agree. We do need giant little penguins. And I was going to make a bunch of cage traps, but then, like, just didn't. But yeah, I need them to step on this, which they keep getting filled up with goblins, which is a little bit unfortunate. It'd be like the Russian band Big Little Penguins. Giant Little Penguins? There you go. You've got a forgotten beast called Maga. Is it a giant ball composed of slime? Because that would check out. Okay, well, let's mark all. Yeah, I'll grab that clear glass. Grab that tiny little bit of wood that you brought. I'll buy your random instruments, humans. Why not? Also buy your cages. I'll buy this as long as there's no like weird blood barrels. Nope, there isn't. They brought a bunch of large clothing I can't use. Going to buy all their bags. Buy the meats, the fish, the that. They bring any books? Well, they brought some paper, which I can grab, and they also brought 3 books for us. How very kind of them. I will gladly trade for all of that. And I'm going to do this, which cancels whatever that last item is. And then I'm going to just jump all the way down here. We're going to make an ashery here so that I can just get that done. I mean, I too have seen Forgotten Beasts with that same name, so it doesn't actually surprise me all that much. We're making cheese. Let's see who's making cheese and what kind of cheese we're making. I didn't even read. I just saw that there was milk. I didn't read what kind of milk. Oh yeah. Also, this guy. Oh, also those walruses that we have. Well, I've got them both in here now and both trained. So we have 2 clumsy walruses that Udil over here is training and seems quite happy about them. I generally don't bother dyeing clothes. It's one of those mechanics in the game where it's like, this is probably worth it, and I should probably do it. And I've done it before, like in Long Death, which was a fortress that I had the goal of keeping it alive for 1,000 years, and largely we made it pretty far. But we made to 400 something years. That particular fort, I had a full dimple dye industry set up, which was kind of cool. It was kind of neat. I'd never done it in a previous fort and had a bit of fun with it, but like I don't know if I would necessarily say it was worth it. Oh, I know something I need. I need silver goblets. Let's just make 2. Let's just make actually like 100 silver goblets, because I guarantee you I do not have enough goblets. I've been seeing a lot of like annoyed after drinking without a goblet, cup, or mug. You want to practice martial art? What's your personality? You know what? We're putting you in the military there, dude. Oh, what? There's no leader for that squad? That seems like a problem. You want to be a squad leader? And also, it's real nice talking with Putnam and hearing her say things like, oh yeah, no, this piece of UI that you all hate, like this, sucks, and it should be better. Yes, I agree. Salamander twisted into humanoid form, has a bloated body and dark scarlet hair that's long and straight, very beware it's poisonous by. You know, that kind of checks out. Sonata number 8. I would say that kind of checks out. But yes, no, we absolutely need giant little penguins. We absolutely need giant little penguins. I think giant little penguins would be one of our greatest creations. Not high enough value yet. Good lord. We're trying. So kind of a major announcement got stealth dropped this past week over on my team's Twitter account, and now it's also pinned on the Dwarf Fortress subreddit. But it's official. We're doing a hot potato marathon for Dwarf Fort. We're thinking end of April, and that's gonna be fun. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the hot potato charity marathon, it's something that me and, or mostly one particular member of my team, Sui, has created. But it's a it's an event that we've hosted fucking for quite a while on RimWorld, but as a charity event, I think since 2019 was the first one. But we did one in 2019, one in 2020, and then one in 2021, and then obviously one in 2022 as well. So like 4, I think. And it's basically a legacy fort, but for RimWorld. With the goal being to raise as much money for Doctors Without Borders as possible. And then the last one that we did, it was like $130,000 we did for Doctors Without Borders. So we're gonna be doing one for Dwarf Fort now. So over here on Reddit, I think it's gonna be pinned for a day or so. There's actually this thread where you can upvote it if you like. There's a little bit of information in there. But we're going to be continuing to yell about that as we get closer to it. I'm not going to say how many signups we get historically. Honestly, because I don't know. And it goes up quite a bit every year. But if you know streamers who stream Dwarf Fort, go yell at them to sign up if they haven't. Obviously, not everybody will get in, but be nice to have people signing up. We've already also got a bunch of big names that have confirmed that they're in to do this, so should be fun. I think we might even get the Kit Fox account to stream too, which would be kind of funny. So yeah, should be a good time. You already signed up, crossing your fingers. Don't get too excited, but at the same time, it depends on, like, if we get like a landslide of signups, we'll just extend it to be a longer event, probably. But I'm kind of expecting it to be a smaller event than the RimWorld one, just because, you know, less people play the game. There's like less active people paying attention to Dwarf Fortress, especially these days. So I am expecting it to be a smaller event. Where you load them all knowledge. Oh yeah, well, I mean, we'll definitely spread it out so that there's possible entertainment. There's also definitely going to be some crossover between the people who take part in the RimWorld one and this one. I know for a fact we've already got people that are like gung-ho that do the RimWorld one as well, so should be fun. It should be fun, I think. Except there's going to be me in the middle of it, which will be interesting because I haven't taken part in one in 2 years because the past 2 years where we've done them, I just don't want to play RimWorld ever again. It's kind of just that simple. I just don't ever want to play that game again. So I just haven't taken part. So it'll be something I actually get to take part in outside of a management side of things. Speaking of blobs, Forgotten Beast Strabo. That's a good name. It's a Strabowie. Stongun. Zes Mistum has come. An enormous blob composed of flame. It has a spiral shell and it squirms and fidgets. Anyone else buffering? I'm not dropping frames. Chat, is anybody buffering or is the stream stable for you? It might be able to get in, depending on where it is. Oh, no, it won't. Actually, no, I'll bet you this is the guy that's been here for a bit. Because you know how there was a bunch of ashes over in the corner?
Whoa.
Whoa, Frank. Thank you very much for keeping that sub alive for a second month. Welcome back. You know, this would be a very useful guy to release onto the surface. Strabo, the Gull of Dusk. I really would like to catch you. That's a really weird set of sound effects. Right to have pop up as that pops up. I was like, what just happened? Oh, is it just something that... Oh, I see what you're saying. Chat, could I get a round of beers for Frank keeping that sub alive for a second month, by the way? My big goal for today is to regain that 1,000 sub count, so it's nice that people are keeping those subs alive. So, 404 Not Found has bestowed the name Daturzulan upon a shield, okay? And also we've, like, Forgotten Beast found some cavern dwellers, or something found some cavern dwellers that I can't actually see. So there's that. And also down here I've built this, which is a method of letting Forgotten Beasts into the fort. And I'm kind of tempted. Yeah, you know what? I'm 100% doing this. Once that caravan leaves up here, We get them out and off the map. I think I'm going to give more method for Forgotten Beasts to get in. I know you gifted a sub last week. Van Goose, thank you very much for $1. It's turning that into a hype train. Appreciate you. Ghost in there that I didn't mean to click on, but I did. It's hysterical to me that you can, like, tame undead units and it doesn't do anything. It's just very funny. Should you worry about the tower warning? Supposedly there's a bug right now where it'll give you the tower warning even if it's not actually in range. But I would, because it might just be, because the list is often longer than the UI allows for. So it might still be there.
Crypt beer.
Thanks for the $2, Frank. So many random zombies. All right, let's throw down some more cage traps out here. Because I want to catch some of those small penguins. Because those are adorable and I want them. They will be mine. All right, let's see how that Pearl Ash is coming along. We do, in fact, have potash, which is behind my camera. We do, in fact, have potash being made. Pearl Ash hasn't begun yet, but we do have potash, so that's a progress. And got some queued up down here. So it's beginning. Loomy, thanks for the $10.38. It's a fascinating little number, that. I was going to just make a potash. Or potash. Stockpile, but I don't know where that lives. If anywhere in here. Ah, there it is. You had 38 bits in reserve? That's just a funny name. Or a funny number. Well, thank you very much for the $10.38. And Frank, thank you very much for the 200 bits and the 200 pennies, the $2. Have ad bits even been a thing for the past 5 years? Remember when people used to like get legitimate money from ad bits? When that was actually like a decent service? Because it was at one point. Redbug is, in fact, still alive. I just need to find you here. There you are. Well, you're not exactly that mini, but, I mean, you are 65 years old. You're a bit of a nervous wreck, and you have an overbearing personality. But aside from the nervous wreckness and dreaming of attaining a rank in society, you're doing quite well. If anybody happens to have a resub, now would be a good time to pop it so that you continue the hype train, or a prime sub alternatively. But thank you very much for all of the bits and the subs, chat. In your heart, you're a little. I think that goes for most of us, eh? What you doing? Storing items in stockpiles? Oh, you're probably grabbing the ammo. Yep. The iron bolt. Thank you very much for the $1, Frank. And the $2 from tin just barely gets it over the fin. So the plan is to actually, like, build this thing up, but I just kind of haven't gotten around to it. Because, you know, things have happened. 8 seconds. It was 2 seconds on mine. It was right down to the wire. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start deconstructing parts of up here. But I need to let them pass this. Whoa! Anonymous, thank you very much for the 5-pack. Appreciate you. Crawling that sub count back up. Dapper Piglet is a very, very, very good username. And Lumi Blade has to one-up Anonymous over here. Thank you very much for checking out the 5-pack as well. Hello, Crinkled Paper. You've got very good dodge skills. Well, with that, I think we're back up to 1,000 subscribers, which means, actually, we're over. We're at 1,004. I guess that means I can end stream then. Thanks, everybody. It's been a good show. Peace. I'm joking. Darius Cardrin, what kind of dwarf would you like? If I turn my camera off and scroll down, we got a lot of miners. Bearded and unbearded. We've got, what, 2 animal caretakers? Couple blacksmiths. Plenty of clothers and crafters, many cooks and various other things. We have some doctors and surgeons. We have some military. We also have a bunch of children. Any idea what kind of dwarf you would like? That would have been awesome. I don't think I've ever actually ended a stream mid-hype train. I feel like I'd be committing some kind of crime. It's like the that's all, folks bit. Trying to get more of these cage traps set up. Oh, there's plenty of gray beards. So you're not picky on job as long as it's a gray beard. There's a white beard. Lumi Blade, thanks for the $1. Let me scroll until I find one. There's, of course, the vampire, but he's taken already. It's like there's this guy, Zon. That gray enough for you? I mean, it's very much white. 154 years old. Damn, this might be the oldest dwarf in the fort next to the vampire. How's the vampire's fort coming up? He keeps, like, he got out and then committed a crime, and now he's in prison for, like, another 500 days. So, not great. Darius Cardren. I think I spelled that right. Finds something humorous in everything, no matter how serious or inappropriate, is in a constant state of internal rage, and he does everything in his power to avoid excitement and stress. He does not easily fall into love, and he rarely develops positive feelings, and he is somewhat quarrelsome, and he is bothered by this since he values friendship. He tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions, and he does not try to get things done perfectly, and he tends to think before acting, and he has a noticeable lack of perseverance, and he tends to consider what others think of him. He is currently more shameless and can handle stress, and occasionally overindulges, and generally acts with a narrow focus in the current activity, and is currently more rude. He needs alcohol to get through the working day, and he doesn't really care about anything anymore, and he scratches his nose when he's trying to remember something. Dreams of creating a great work of art and personally believes that the idea of war is utterly repellent and would have peace at all costs, disdains the law, and sees working hard as a foolish waste of time. He sees sacrifice as wasteful and foolish, and he doesn't particularly care about craftsmanship and dreams of creating a great work of art. He likes quartzite, billin, cherry opal, giant bush tit, parchment, and the color pale pink. Battle axes and slabs and hyenas for their distinctive laugh, and the words of the berries of serenity, and the sound of the aquamarine of lyric, and the sight of the festive suitor, and when possible prefers to consume perch and custard apple cider, and absolutely hates cave spiders. And then the last thing I want to see is what do you look like? His very long beard is arranged in double braids, his sideburns are clean shaven, and his medium-length mustache is neatly combed. His very long hair is arranged in double braids, and his ochre eyes, are round. His ears are extraordinarily broad, and his peach skin is slightly wrinkled. His neck bears a massive jagged scar, and his left hair and his hair is sorry, not his left hair. His hair is white, and his nose bridge is slightly convex. There you go. Welcome to the fort. And chat room, thank you very much for that hype train. You guys are very kind. All right, so let's see, has the water stopped flooding? The water does indeed appear to have stopped flooding, which is good. Ponder bandages. Good idea, is what I have to say about bandages. But thank you very much for the 14 subscriptions and the 1,738 pennies. So $17.38. But yeah, as far as the chat with Putnam goes, the kind of long-term goal for those is to just make them a thinking about doing like a tree farm down here. The goal for those is to just make them a monthly thing. So those are just gonna happen once a month or so, kind of going forward. Chat, what do you think? Tree farm right here, or tree farm up here? So lower or upper tree farm? What do you think? But yeah, the one caveat though is they're only gonna happen if there's actually enough to talk about. That's the only real caveat there. Trying to make a 5x5 tower that does bi-directional transit up and down. Going to implement the idea. Directional transit. I don't imagine how you would build that. Seems doable, if nothing else though. Okay, we're just waiting on these cage traps to all get set up. Make 20 copper cages. Apparently I'm forging silver goblets and we just kind of stopped. Why that is. Not out of charcoal. Not entirely sure what's up with that. But yeah, I was also going to put another military training area down here, so I should probably finish that. And then this over here is just, you know, where the bads go. Those who should be dead go. You got to get you a mug. Well, I hope you like the mug when you get your mug. I'm quite fond of that mug. That mug is like, I might need to get me one of those, even though I don't need another mug, and I don't even use mugs like that on stream. But Tele, hello. Yeah, I am feeling quite a bit better. I don't know what I woke up with this morning, but it wasn't feeling good when I woke up, but kind of it went away weirdly quick. Although I did sleep until 2 p.m. Like I initially woke up at 7 and then just went back to bed and then woke up at like 2, and by 2 I felt fine, so. And hello, Bob. Hope you are doing well as well. I think we're going to go down by 2 layers in here, and this is going to be a 2-layer deep kind of tree farm. It's going to be for mushroom trees. Yours must be busy. Also, now I'm suddenly wondering, are dwarves missing bedrooms? Am I still seriously not done with making bedrooms? No, most of them are good. Body crave sleep, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Maybe I was just tired. But also, hello, Boreas. And for anybody who missed it earlier, the new merchandise there's 2 new T-shirts up on the on the store now. One of them is a limited edition one, and one of them's just going to be there forever. So this is the one that's just going to be there. It's kind of a play on the other one, which is Who's Dying in the Basement. It's on the back. It says Who's Dying in the Basement. It's available in several different colors. So we got that one, and then the other one that we've got is this one. Which is this one's a limited one. So this one's only going to be on the store for a month. So I'm going to take it down in a month. And this is Crypt Brewing. It's kind of a fake employee shirt for a brewery that doesn't exist, based on, you know, the beers never end. And Fog in chat there did that design. We should probably be in bed because it's kind of late for you, isn't it? How's the base coming along? Well, admittedly, I haven't streamed this Fortress since Thursday, so it's coming along. I just dealt with a little flooding issue over here, and there's a flamey beast in the basement, and we've discovered that there are mini penguins on this map, and I want to catch 12. But, you know, training up military and hiding from sieges. Only 2:30 a.m. in the UK. That's pretty... Oh, you got this week off work? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. So then what's on the agenda for the week off work then? In that case. It's like I'm sitting here listening. It's like, I thought that this game's supposed to have sound effects. So I'm going to tell them to dig this chunk at higher priority. They're going to dig over to here, and I'm going to... No, do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I do want to do it that way. We're going to pump water out of here and then down into here. It's going to be the way we're going to do this. Apparently I need grates. Rory, what's up, man? Okay, what's the actual issue here? Apparently I'm out of copper bars. Okay. Am I really? Oh, right. Okay. 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 Okay, that checks out. Silver nuggets. Where's... Do I not have a smelt tetrahedrite job running? Okay. I'm just going to set that to 0 and just be like, start smelting tetrahedrite, because I'm pretty sure I have quite a bit of that lying around. Yeah, like right there. So please go smelt all of my tetrahedrite that's like everywhere. Better be watching all of Blind's 7,000-hour DF VODs. You know, it's kind of funny that there was somebody on Reddit the other day who said, love your videos, but I don't watch the VODs because they're too long. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, the last time I uploaded a VOD that was like more than 6 hours long was February 24th. I haven't done that in 4 days. And the last one I uploaded, 1,000 people watched. It's kind of funny. Every now and again, there are people who are just like, nobody watches long VODs. You shouldn't upload them. It's like, well, okay. Let's say this, right? Most recent community fort vid, 1,338 views, right? Most recent interview with Putnam, 5,500, but that's obviously going to be inflated because it's a chat with Putnam. Okay. Last 7-hour VOD, 1,072 views. Last edited VOD got 400 more views than that. It's like, really? They do about the same. They take you 2+ days sometimes. The fact that you watch them in their entirety is kind of incredible to me, though. Like, that actually is kind of incredible. But how you been, though, Rory? Good to see you around. You binge them a lot? Yeah. My favorite compliment that I ever got from those, because I've been uploading VODs like that for like 4 or 5 years now, is there is a longtime viewer of this channel who is in a submarine most of the time, right? And he was like, your channel is a lifesaver. And I was like, why is that? He goes, because I spend like it was like 8 months of the year in a submarine in 3-month stints. And I can download 3+ months worth of VODs in video format onto my hard drive in low resolution. And then I just get to watch your streams and get caught up over the next 3 months that I'm underwater, which is like, yeah, that checks out. He's like, most people just download podcasts or TV series. I download your streams. I wonder if he still does that. I don't see him in chat very often for obvious reasons. Super great Let's Play. Yeah, it's just it's nice that people have been enjoying Brave Book, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with it end goal wise. But the Cyclops Emini foiled Navia has come, a giant humanoid monster with a single eye in its forehead. I'm going to go take a piss break because apparently I need to pee, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this giant monster with an eye set in its forehead. It appears that it is snowing outside again. All right, let's see where this critter's at. Depending on its location, we might kill it. Oh no, that's my friend. They live there. There you are. Got no items, so nothing super interesting. Old character, the Old. Imagine your official title being You're Old. Man, that sucks. I feel for this creature. Ink Pink, the Old. Emini, Ink Pink, the Old. What a life. It's pretty fucking old, sure, but most of them are around this age. So if it manages to get itself into one of my cage traps, it'll live. Otherwise, it's dead. You forgot your laptop? Where were you supposed to bring your laptop? All right, looks like Casual Elephant is going to be the first to get into combat, and also an ad is about to hit, so I'm just going to let the ad play out. I should have run it when I used the restroom, but it's older than the world itself. Well, it's older than history, recorded history, not necessarily older than the world. Wikipedia list of people known as old. True. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was The Young. Oh no, then he would have just been like a SoundCloud rapper. His name would have been like Young Emi Pink Ink or whatever. What are you wielding? A steel battle axe. Hot damn. So, I get it. So, did you leave your laptop at work or something? Lil Pink Ink. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. I'm assuming you don't have a second computer at home then. Just waiting for the ads to run through, so people don't lose stuff. Ah, so you just have iPads. I gotcha. Yeah, no, that would make sense. Speaking of stuff that I talked to Putnam about, some people seem pretty stoked because that Linux build does seem like it's pretty close. Native Linux build, yep, it's coming. And then as far as the only thing that needs to be done after that is or for the Mac build is Putnam just needs to get a Mac. It seems barely needed. Yeah, but it's still good to have. It's like just because it works in Proton, wouldn't you want like the extra 10 frames a second or whatever you'd get out of having a native build? Like, just we need the native builds. And to that one person still screaming for a foam port, it's never going to happen. I hate to be that guy, Lumi, but Putnam's a she. All right, so ads should be done. So let's just move this forward. Casual Elephant gets into the fighting, is terrified while in conflict, and doesn't feel anything after seeing a giant's dead body. Is that a giant's dead body? That is a giant's dead body. I don't bother correcting people in YouTube comments, but in my chat I try to. All right, so he missed. He missed. First strike, and he missed. Move a few turns forward. Seems the giant is on top of him. Axe Casual punches the Cyclops in the second toe with his hand. The Force twists the right foot. I'm very proud of naming him Axe Casual, actually. Axe Casual hacks the Cyclops in the neck with his steel battle axe, tearing apart the muscle and fracturing the upper spine's bone. An artery has been opened by the attack, and a tendon in the upper spine has been torn. Unless it's a giant girl. From, like, you know, those 1960s, like, Prince. Or, like, you know, Bayonetta. You do remember hearing weird rumors that Valve was asking devs to not make native Linux versions when the Steam Deck was rolling out. It's also something they've promised, so they're going to do it. An Amazonian, sure. Gruesome wounds, begone fear, says the Cyclops. The rest of the dwarves pile in and begin fighting. It seems like Keely B is in the fighting, and she says, I have a part in this. This might require an answer after punching or bashing it in the lower body with her silver warhammer, bruising the kidney. Axe Casual is still underneath it and is hacking at the upper body with his steel battle axe, punching up, you could say. And it seems like somebody beheaded it. Was it Axe Casual? It was, in fact, Axe Casual. It seems like Axe Casual hacked the Cyclops in the head with his steel battle axe, tearing apart the muscle and fracturing the skull, then swings back and hits it again and screams, "This is a fight. I laugh in the face of death." Axe Casual hacks the Cyclops in the head with his steel battle axe, tearing apart the muscle and fracturing the skull. An artery has been opened by the attack, and a tendon in the skull has been torn. Axe Casual then hacks the Cyclops in the head with his steel battle axe, and the severed part sails off in an arc, and he says, "Can it all end so quickly? This does not scare me." You seem disappointed, Casual. Now we're just going to simply wait until these bits get removed from up here. But also another reason why Dwarf Fortress needs the Linux builds is Classic, the free version, requires a lot more, legwork to make that work. So there's plenty of reasons why they should have Linux and Mac native builds. Plenty of reasons. Spooky evil biome sounds. What material? Everything's just copper. Some of it's iron now, though, but it's mostly copper. Let me just make sure that these... Well, at least I've got dwarves smelting tetrahedrite now. Let's go over to here, and we're going to go to screw pump. Probably just grab copper for this. Doing all right, Papa Lurk, and yourself? It's been a minute. Hope things have been good. Still doing the same old thing over here, streaming dwarfs. Currently working on a tree farm down here, so a little bit of luck. Get some trees growing. Like, why won't you die? Beheaded. It was a pretty epic fight, though, like the triple swing. Take out the head. It's very cinematic. Take that, so-called cinematic experiences. So I was reading, like, the full list of winners for the DICE Awards. Does anybody here care about DICE Awards at all? Or, like, video game awards in the slightest? No? Okay. Well, it is kind of like a pretty... It is kind of a prestigious thing, right? But I just want to read off the the games that won awards, right? So 2022's awards. The one that we really do care about, though, is the fact that Dwarf Fortress won Best Strategy Game. So I just want to say this because I think it's kind of hysterical, because there's a small handful of games that won like everything. I just need to find this full list. It's not giving me the full list. Anyway, God of War basically won every single award. Here it is. So, Outstanding Achievement in Animation, God of War Ragnarok. Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, God of War Ragnarok. Outstanding Achievement in Character, God of War Ragnarok. To Kratos. Also, like, all of the nominations were Ragnarok, with the exception of one for, like, Return to Monkey Island, Guybrush. Outstanding achievement in musical composition, God of War Ragnarok. Outstanding achievement in audio design, God of War Ragnarok. Outstanding achievement in story, God of War Ragnarok. Outstanding technical achievement, Elden Ring. Weird. Game of the year, Vampire Survivors. It's not an action game. And adventure game of the year, God of War Ragnarok. Family game of the year, stop me if you heard this one before, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Which is a crime because I think Trombone Champ got fucking robbed. Fighting a game of the year, which is Multiverses apparently, and I have a question. Is anybody still playing Multiverses? Gran Turismo 7 is racing game of the year, which only had 3 nominations, which just shows that there's not a lot of racing games. Role-playing game of the year somehow wasn't God of War Ragnarok and was Elden Ring. Sports game of the year, which is funny as hell to me because it's EA Sport. These are the nominees. EA Sports, Mario Strikers Battle League, MLB The Show, and MBK 2K, but the winner was Ollie Ollie World, which I think is hilarious. And then strategy and simulation, Dwarf Fortress. And then there's actually some other games in there, like immersive reality game of the year is Red Matter 2, whatever that is. Outstanding achievement in independent game is Tunic. Mobile game of the year is Marvel Snap, which makes sense. Final Fantasy got online game of the year. Outstanding achievement in game design was Elden Ring. Outstanding achievement in art direction was Elden Ring. And then game of the year is Elden Ring. But it's so strange because it's like basically Elden Ring and God of War won everything. It's like, more games came out, right? It's like you could have given one to Tunic. I don't even know what Red Matter 2 is. I need to go Google that. What is Red Matter 2? Oh, it's a VR thing. That's why I don't know what it is. Also, a casual elephant, you just beheaded a giant Cyclops. How do you feel about this? I'm very proud of your nickname, Axe Casual, though, because you use an axe. But they didn't pay enough respects to the judges. I think it's just the judges are a bunch of fanboys. What? Dwarven baby was found dead dehydrated? What? That's slightly concerning. Must have been really depressed. I'm sorry there, Olan. Also, it appears that a Jabberer corpse is fighting with a bunch of flesh balls. I'm sure that's fine. Okay, that's kind of terrifying. So, there's a mangled flesh ball with a Jabberer corpse on top of it. And also, that's a Creeping Eye corpse. I think Creeping Eyes look creepier when they are undead. Yeah, fucking guy. Also, see how this water is, like, shifting? That ball of fire Forgotten Beast must be sitting in it somewhere. This is a bit of a danger gamble here. When I do that. Not enough booze? No, it would say that they were found dead, completely drained of blood. If it was a vampire. Certainly was not a vampire. Also, there's only one vampire in this fort, and he's locked up. And it also can't be not enough booze. We got plenty of booze. They must have just been depressed. Did I do a game of the year list? I said my favorite 3 games of last year in a podcast, but do I do a list? Not really. I'm going to change this shirt because I was doing some baking the other day and just noticed that there's like baker's chocolate smeared on this. So I'm going to just hold on a second. Don't be a delinquent like me and wear the same shirt 3 days in a row. What I bake? Chocolate chip cookies. And then I ate them all. I made a quarter batch chocolate chip cookies because it only required 1 egg. It was yummy. It's raining fitted slush again. Gross. Baking stream? Nope. Never. Never happening. Some things I'm allowed to have as private pastimes for myself that I don't need to involve the internet in. Same reason I probably will never do a hiking stream. Ball of lint has been possessed. I'm also realizing now I don't even think I posted pictures of the cookies that I made. I'm just being selfish. I ate them all. Ball of lint. There you are. Uh-oh. That's mildly concerning. Oh, it's just his head. Oh, that's fine. Well, hold up. And now it's caught in a cage. Never mind. And now that one's caught in a cage. Well, that's slightly awkward. Tame the head literally won't work. Tame the head is, man. I'm not gonna make the dick joke that I thought about making with that. And speed kills. Hello, it's good to see you. But in regards to my favorite games last year, I think my favorite game that came out last year, and I don't consider Dwarf Fortress one, because I've been playing Dwarf Fortress for a decade. But my favorite new game that came out last year was Citizen Sleeper. By a mile. Like, no contest, it was Citizen Sleeper. I like spears. There's only one weapon I really don't like for dwarves, and that's maces. And that's because maces are just worse hammers. So maces are the only material I don't like. So what am I missing for Pearl Ash, then? Artifacts like don't like kind of negate like the value of everything else, but Fog made a thing for me, and I'm trying to load it, and it's just a spinning circle. But yeah, I don't really have any opinions on spears for dwarves. Spears are just kind of great. Maces versus hammers. Maces versus hammers versus mauls. You're working on a lower res version? Oh, hey, it loaded. Oh, and I can't even see it because it's got a clear background. Not the sort of thing I would put on stream. But if it had a background, I'd put it on Twitter. It's very high res. It's very, very cool looking. I will give you exactly 1 minute. No longer. No shorter. Yeah, especially when they don't actually have any differences between them outside of color. Also, because many of you are new to Dwarf Fortress, just remember this is the first version of the game that actually allowed dwarves to wear loincloths. This is the first version of the game where dwarves have been able to make loincloths. So to me, the premium update is still just the undies update. All it actually was. They added makeable underwear for dwarves. Well, I'm just kind of assuming this dwarf is just good. What have you grabbed? Swords. Okay, I will loosely keep an eye on you. Apparently, just nobody's making pearl ash, which is bizarre. Rock salt looks real nice, yeah. Also, a lot of the colors that have been added in this version didn't exist in previous versions. The number of colors got expanded quite dramatically with this version. Which I actually saw one person leave it a negative Steam review because of they're like, God, new colors ruin the aesthetic of the experience. It's like, okay. Game too colorful. Make less colorful. You mean Electrum? Electrum, not Electron or whatever? Well, let's start pumping. Accessing the justice menu? You can't access that. Wait, what exactly is your issue? Because you can't access it until you have a captain of the guard set up. And then sometimes there will be things that will pop up in the intelligence menu, like in this screen, that like you click on them and nothing happens, but it's because there is no information discovered. It just kind of does a bad job explaining that. We're waiting. Oop. Did Fog send me the new thing? Fog sent me the new thing. I have to download this one.
Crypt beer.
Bah! Fallout Rain, thanks for the 3rd month. Welcome back. This is a dot mauve. Can VLC open that? Let's find out. Nope. Who can open a dot? What opens a dot mauve? I don't even know what a dot mauve is. Weird file formats. Hold on a second. Open with, I don't know, fucking Windows Photos? Does that know what a mauve is? Nope. Does not know what a mauve is. What's a mauve? It's QuickTime? Oh, yeah, no, that shit doesn't exist on my actual useful computer. I think I'll have to transfer into a different file format. Well, it's funny to me that, like... It's really funny to me, though, that VLC doesn't know what it is. You'd think VLC would know what it is. I tried... that was the first thing I tried to open it with, was VLC. Previous Mac energy coming back. Once infected, it's hard to escape, yeah. Oh no, I just realized this is gonna... I'm just dumping water in all of my rooms that had the water wheels because I'm just like sucking all of the water out from where the water wheels are. Whoops. I listened to an interview with the head maintainer of VLC Media Player, who's extremely French, but also has some of the best takes on copyright law that I've ever heard. Such as like, well, if they don't like it, they should get better copy protection. And also, we'll see, where I'm from, we have actual useful copyright. we have laws that actually allow us to use things publicly that also still allow people to own stuff. It's a fun guy. I recommend listening to that man talk if you get the opportunity. QuickTime alternative. I had to install QuickTime relatively recently, as well as iTunes, actually, because believe it or not, in order to officially get a podcast on Apple iTunes, you have to submit it using a confirmed iTunes account or Apple account. And the only way to confirm an Apple account is by putting your credit card into iTunes. They won't let you do it through a website. You can't do it through a third-party thing. You have to install iTunes, sign in with iTunes, and then put in a credit card number. Because you have to pay them $20 a year for the courtesy of distributing your podcast. So it's like $23 or something. So when I was setting up the Halcyon Frequency podcast, I had to install and set up QuickTime and iTunes, because iTunes just won't launch if you don't have QuickTime installed, and then immediately uninstalled it all. But had to reconfirm it again when my credit card got comped, so I had to reinstall all that shit again, and then uninstall it again. Which was even better, because like my iTunes account apparently is an account that I made when I was a small child and couldn't remember any of my recovery questions. And it was like, you need recovery questions! And I was like, no, I don't remember what my favorite band is. From like 2009? No, I do not, in fact, actually remember what my favorite band was. I was a small child. Can you wear the mask? I was going to save it for somebody of actual importance, Zwari, but I'll consider it. It depends on how good it looks. Cesar Itgaz created Vatschistostock. Ball of Lint made this. A frilly alpaca wool mask. Coheed and Cambria in 2009? I was edgy in 09, but not that kind of edgy. I got into Coheed a little later, actually. Well, and the suited giraffe redeemed a dwarf. Do you have a dwarf in this fort? I thought you did. You might not. I don't think so either, but you might. So let me just check. No, you don't. All right. Well, do you know approximately what kind of dwarf you want? Well, I turn this off and then go read that artifact. This is a frilly alpaca wool mask. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round cabochons and cushion marble cabochons, and decorated with alpaca wool and marble cabochons and copper. This it is made from wool cloth and thread, and the thread is emerald with emerald dye. Well, that's nice. It's green. I'm not going to give it to you, Zwari. And the reason I'm not going to give it to you is because I'd rather put it in here and save it for somebody of importance. Mashk! You're just the mayor. You're not like actual nobility. Come on. Know your place in the fortress, please. All right. Uh-oh. Start pumping again. This is a problem. Kinda need to get this bin out of here. Without you, my fort would be dying of depression. Disagree. Respectfully, but disagree. Without you, we would just simply have a different mayor. Bearded, mildly happy miner. I could give you Edom. This is a very happy miner. Who's currently stressed, apparently. Can you get a peek at your dwarf? After I read this one. The suited giraffe. Giraffe. Is obsessed with order and structure in his own life, with everything kept in its proper place. He is frequently depressed and generally unhindered by the thoughts of others concerning his actions. He very rarely develops negative feelings towards things and is made deeply uncomfortable by those that have a difference in culture or appearance. He can occasionally overindulge, takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful, and he's often ambitious, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday, and he finds the whole notion of maintaining decorum to be he's affronted by the whole notion of maintaining decorum and finds so-called dignified people disgusting. He doesn't care if others take the time to master skills and dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. He likes koboldite, steel, citrine, amber, spears, boxes, water buffaloes, and for their wallowing, and rocks for their dedication to their young. And peanut plants for their edible nuts, and the words of the berries of Saturnity, and the sight of the festive suitor, and when possible prefers to consume cavefish and 2-humped camel cheese and durian wine, and hates worms. He is wiry, and he is wiry. There we go. His long beard is arranged in double braids. His long sideburns are braided, and his very long mustache is neatly combed. His slightly rounded amethyst eyes are close set. He's got lots of old wounds, including a massive curving scar, and his hair is copper, and his skin is pale brown. And Casual wanted me to look at Axe Casual. Please tell me you didn't lose your name. Okay. Like, Streamlabs lost her name again. Hammer Ninja lost her name. Hammer Polly. Kaylee B. Yep, you did. Axe Casual actively avoids exciting and stressful situations. The Big Duck with the Prime subscription. 22. Thank you very much. Hello, Big Duck. Tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others and struggles against this tendency. It appears. Seems like a good dwarf. Dreams of mastering a skill, and this dream was realized. Recent thoughts. Quite content remembering being near a waterfall. Was satisfied upon improving observation. Do you like your job? From what I can tell, pretty happy dwarf. That was the wrong button, but whatever. Those bins are going to live here for forever, aren't they? I don't actually care if it gets dumped, but I need it to go somewhere. Just because they're legendary with their weapon and they've mastered a skill doesn't mean they've mastered every skill. Be like, this dwarf's a legendary observer, but a great fighter. This dwarf is a legendary observer, fighter, axe dwarf, legendary discipline, but only an adept shield user. So. How's your little dwarf, Merlin buff? I mean, 66 years old, not that little. Doesn't generally think before acting. Fondness when making a friend. Bored after being unable to practice a martial art. You're corpulent. You dream of mastering a skill. You would like to be in the military. Axe Casual is pretty damn epic and also pretty casual. Also, thank you very much for the 3rd month. Welcome back. We've got a notification that dwarves are here to trade. Did I make... Clearly I didn't. Those are not actually that valuable. I'd swear that I made platinum stuff. But I suppose I didn't. No, I might also just be confusing in my brain with Brave Book. It's actually my real suspicion here. I think I'm just confusing it with Brave Book. I'm just confusing it with Brave Book. A lot of thread I got lying around. I should get that dealt with. In my defense, pretty easy to get those two confused when you're just like swapping between them. Sell the mugs. Swap entirely over to the goblets. What the fuck, StreamPog? Hello. How are you, Tyler Wynn? Yeah, no, I'm definitely confusing with Brave Book. I mean, I'm making them. But, like, I have items I actually need to get rid of. And both are valuable enough, so I would rather get rid of random objects that are just left around the map versus, you know, spending that on other, things that I don't need to get rid of. Like, I don't need to get rid of mules. I do, however, need to get rid of other things. Like used clothing and random large armor that I'm not going to melt down and not going to use. If you think about it, wouldn't make any sense to do it that way. Well, I guess that those bins are just going to live there now. Keep an eye, make sure there's no combat stuff happening. Here come the dwarves. Incredibly tired for too many reasons. Gotcha. I felt like crap this morning, but body came too, so I was like, might as well turn the stream on. The only gripe about this game is that it was created in a world where there are only 24 hours in a day. You know, is it bad that my initial thought when I read that sentence was, but if the days were longer, then getting through a year in game would take longer, because I thought you were talking about like in-game days? And an in-game day in Dwarf Fortress, I don't actually know if they're 24 hours. They might be 30. Because it takes about 30 seconds at default frame rate when you start a new fort for a data pass. But I guess I don't know. But hi, GoJ. Welcome to the stream side of things. Yeah, that's a pretty minor gripe, frankly. Although I feel that way about a lot of video games. Let's discuss your situation. Oh my god. The merit deserves reward. I come empowered to establish this colony as official land of our realm. It's a very whelming thing to say. Of our realm. Of course, the nobility must live well. Do you have anyone suitable for this situation? Yes, I do have some recommendations. I think a devilish potato would actually make a great elevation here. Because a devilish potato has an interesting turnaround story. And frankly, I don't really want some nitwit, like our mayor here, demanding that I give him, even more ballista arrows when I really don't feel like it. So I'm thinking a devilish potato, because the devilish potato went from being one of the most depressed dwarves in the fort to being one of the happiest dwarves in the fort. So, and also is a very important religious figure. He's already well liked amongst the fortresses. Guess your friend is sleeping over? Could be worse. Roll is the same as ever. What request do you have of our merchants? All of the wood, please. I want meat next year. All right. Potato? What's up, Metalhead Fusion? It's all in the name. This is true, Devilish. And also F's to everybody who invested and lost. I feel your pain from a distance over here. GoJ, thank you very much for that Prime subscription. Means a lot. We're going to buy all of this wood from them. We're going to buy the prepared peafowl intestines. And I guess the cranberries. Okay. An odd bit of things there. We have an Etten. It's right upper arm, a giant eagle corpse. Goblin. Hold on. I have a tame crow, apparently. Apparently, I do in fact have a tame crow in the fortress. Man. Oh, they're just normal puffins. There's normal puffins flapping around the map. Normal puffins, not giant puffins, unfortunately. Just normal puffins. How's Puffy doing? Puffy is quite happy because Puffy is no longer chained. I've gotten brave and I've made Puffy the Vampire Slayer and Big Tux just allowed to hang out here. So they're quite a bit happier. It appears that Puffy currently has a puffin egg, giant puffin egg, which is obviously not going to be born into anything, unfortunately. But Puffy appears to have laid an egg. So Puffy seems to be in a pretty good space. And down here, I need to dig out a little more. Forgotten Beast and Nan has come. Can you cook them up? Yep. Which is all we can do with them right now. Hello, Kosin. An enormous three-eyed spider. It has a long swinging trunk and it squirms and fidgets. Its pine green exoskeleton is warty. Beware its poisonous bite. That is horrifying. But also kind of weak. Here comes some fun. Yeah, it doesn't have access to where I live, so it shouldn't be too much. Although there is some undead, I think, rotten creeping eye corpses. So we'll see who wins here. My money is almost on the creeping eye corpses. An arachnid anteater. I mean, spiders can't eat bugs, although spiders drain bugs. Some poor man's spider. Yeah, someone cut out half of its eyes. I mean, spiders are all pretty weak in Dwarf Fort. I mean, insects are weak in general in Dwarf Forts, so I wouldn't be too concerned. I don't own a Steam Deck, but I've heard reports that it runs great on a Steam Deck from many people. It lags a little bit in places. The gist that I get is it runs quite well. Well, this is a very boring Forgotten Beast, so I'm going to go back to things that matter. I feel like I would just use the touchscreen stuff as far as controls go on the deck. All right, well, that should dry off this upper layer. Hopefully dry off this lower layer. And also, if we get any cavern creatures caught, we can make a little cavern habitat down here, which could be a bit of fun as well. All right, you can get unforbidden. And you also get made. One final one can be you. So they should be able to access this. Sweet. And sweet. We'll keep an eye on that as that fills up slowly. Kind of keeping an eye on these so I can turn them off once they're set up. Current optimization, it should just keep getting better as it goes on. I mean, that's the way Dwarf Fortress always has been, right? Every update, it runs a little better. Yeah, I have no idea how those controller layout stuff works. Rev Brown, what up? It's a Rev-friendly stream over here on the weekend. Heading out now? Oh, did you send me a new version of that thing and a thing that my computer understands? Ooh. Hey, chat, you guys want to see an official Blind IRL ad, courtesy of Fog in my chat? This is an ad for my new merch. This is running in VLC. Because he sent me one that actually functions. So, If you, for some crazy reason, would like a limited edition shirt, exclamation point merch. This will only be for sale for 1 month. Until the 1st of, not, March, but April. April 1st. Whoopsies. That is me misclicking. I really hate that feature. I wish I could just remove that feature from existence. But there you go. Wish I could just disable that in my chat. All right. Does nobody have bucket? We are out of buckets, apparently. Someone should put that on the bucket list. Hardy, hardy, har. We're also out of charcoal, so I'm sure that's not helping. I'm going to go be brave. Let's give the dwarves access to this area over here. Unlock this door. I really should just make like an above ground burrow. But that would be smart. And I don't do smart things. We're going to go up here and we're just going to chop all these trees down. Because we need industry. For that industry, we need trees. I'm actually going to go down to this lower layer down here and I'm going to make a bunch of these. But yeah, I really wish I could be like, and because of this new t-shirt, I'm now starting my own brewery, which is not true, but I have a logo now, so maybe one day. Maybe one day. Trees, you say? I mean, smoke trees every day. I apparently have 2 woodcutters. Let's grab some more woodcutters. Very easy industry to die in, turns out. Also, yeah, Devilish, I need to give you space. So, Devilish, where would you like your throne room and whatnot to be? Is important question numero uno. Hi, YouTube. What's up, Reno? It's become a funny bit, the whole hi, YouTube. Where would you like your where, oh, I guess on the main layer, this one. Where would you like your throne room and whatnot to be? First time here from YouTube? Well, how does it feel to be on the Twitch side of things? I know I put a cross there. I can't actually remember why. I was like, I want to put something there, and I put like a marker there, and then like completely forgot what it was. I'm good at this game. I swear. All right, it begins. You were looking for my merch too. Well, exclamation point merch in chat. But if you're at 200 population, you can't be that bad. I mean, I'm not even at 200 population. I'm still blind, but it's good that you're back, Zori. Agitated mangled crab. Huh. We just beat the shit out of a crab, apparently. Hall of wood. Why wood? Wood is such a low value item. Return to crab. Well, clearly crab was trying to return to us, and we turned him into crab soup. You haven't dug into the caverns yet? Well, I mean, you seem to be doing perfectly fine from my point of view. But also, I haven't seen your fort, so. Hello, Dilfo. How is things? And cheers to everybody who's picked up the new shirt, by the way. Ever mine an entire layer out just for decorative materials? For decorative material? I've mined pretty close to a whole layer out for decorative materials, yeah. But not an entire one. Like, I've never just, like, dug the, I've never just done the, all right, I'm just going to click drag for the entire map. I've never done that. But I've dug out some pretty large chunks of dirt specifically for materials, yeah. No problem, dude. Thanks for swinging by and watching and saying hi. Yeah, also, I don't really strip mine, too. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that's just ugly. I guess the closest thing I've done to that would be, like on this particular fort would be like this. This is largely just for decorative materials. I should probably do some more work down here, but it's also not in the burrow currently, so can't actually get down there. Normal time stream tomorrow, yeah, is the plan. Unless I stream until 1 o'clock in the morning, which I don't really see myself doing. You're off to sleep. You have a good night. Cheers, Brioct. You drained your reserve water tank on an experiment of how well dwarves doing clean task inside your water. While doing the clean task inside your water tank. Don't let them in your water tank. Would be the way you don't let that happen. Just simply don't let them in there. Good night, crinkled paper. You snooze well. I need those buckets. Also a sub squirrely. Wait, what function are we talking about? Oh, the function to, wait, mine out ore veins? What, like auto mining this? This has been in vanilla as long as I can remember. So, no, that's not a DF hack feature. That's also not a new feature. None of that is new. That's just been there for forever. I need to make this area more spaghetti. It's not spaghetti enough. I'm not sure exactly when we're letting the vampire out, so I'm just going to lock him in there. Yeah, there was a DF hack command that made it more obvious. The way you did it previously is like down at the bottom here, there was a little option where you'd hit A and it would like swap between the two. Well, the reason so many features people think were not vanilla features is because the reason so many people thought that features were not vanilla features is because everybody insisted that you needed DF hack to play Dwarf Fortress, which you didn't. And because of this, everybody would be like, oh, it has all these great features. So everybody would just assume that most of the features that made the game like more convenient to play were DF hack features, when a lot of them just straight up weren't. It's one of the reasons I was like perpetually annoyed with people. Make those copper buckets, please. Let's also make some charcoal on this other one first. Got a lot of wood coming down here now. Snow is so bright. So many things in cages. A named Jabberer. What have you killed? Oh! So do you remember how earlier I was like... I'm not using any mods. You know how earlier I was like, that Forgotten Beast is gonna die to something random? Died to a Jabberer. Was that spider? To be fair, Jabberers are pretty mean. But yeah, we're not using any mods. I don't see any reason to add mods to a game that really doesn't need them. It just makes the game less stable. So, vast majority of the major crashing issues that people are running into is because they're trying to load 5 different new races. Not a huge fan of that myself. So unless the game is extremely stable, I don't generally use mods. And the only kind of mods that I do use are massive overhaul mods, usually. Ever played CDDA? Yeah, not for a while, though. Why do you ask? Because if you're wondering if I have an opinion on it, my opinion is it's an open world survival crafting game. I find those really boring. So, if you want a good YouTube channel or streamer, I guess, to watch for that. Give you a link to Vorm. That's probably your best guy to watch. Go follow his playthroughs. You believe 1 or 2 of the mods are still in the game that you made? Interesting. Although, to be fair, being considered a dev of CDDA doesn't really require that much. Well, it's not that they're boring. It's like, I don't mind open world survival crafting games. I just don't find them to be that interesting. Like, they're fine. They're just not the first thing I go to when I'm looking for something that isn't DF. Like, the open world survival crafting elements are the parts of Dwarf Fortress I like the least. I mean, it's open source, so anybody can go add stuff to it. Surely. The only one of those games that I particularly like as far as open world survival crafting games go is I like Zomboid, but that's just because I can just go into that game with like 4 friends. It's like a co-op isometric game for me more than an open world survival crafting game strictly. How come nobody's felling tree? I must be just out of axes. I mean, I get drops and views on literally anything that isn't Dwarf Fort, Cerniv. But do people like Warsim? Yeah. Why? It's not a game that I could stream for 10 hours, but it's fun in little 2 to 3 hour bursts. Because the problem with that game is I just start to play too fast for most people pretty quickly after a little bit, because it's a very easy game to play quickly. It's a strange doorway to take when the other one's way faster. It's an open source, like, features game. It's never going to be intuitive. Really? But why do you ask, Cerniv? I mean, you can just go look at the YouTube channel and see which videos are getting the most views. I mean, it does about as well as anything that isn't Dwarf Fort on this channel. It did about as well as Caves of Cud did. You gotta go. How dare you watch a movie with your friend? Just, like, tie your friend to a chair and make them watch Dwarf Fort. It'd be great. Enjoy your movie. Angry tree faller. Anybody who's outside is angry. Uh-oh. That can't be good. I'm sorry. Whoa, we got agitated giant puffins coming in from the ceiling. I've chopped down too many trees, clearly. I forgot I left that trap door open. Well, or this door open, I guess. And unfortunately, they're at an angle where I'm not going to get them in traps unless I caught any of them out here, which I doubt it. Catch him? No, they're going to die. I'm going to kill them. We are not going to catch these. Unfortunately, not that easy. It's either that or just lose more dwarves, which frankly I'd rather not. And I'm just going to station the military up here. No, they need to come in this door to get caught, but they came in this door. Building 1 level below the surface? Have you watched the stream at all today, Papa Lurk? Or are you just commenting on my trading zone?
Crypt L, Crypt R.
Crypt L indeed. Cosmic, thanks for the 3rd month. All right, no, it was Melville, not Lorbam. Mm-hmm. So you're returning the BM? No, see, here's the thing. You're just being BM, right? Me giving people shit for that isn't me giving people shit. Me telling people that is me explaining how mechanics works. What you're doing is BMing. It's also slander and completely inaccurate, as the vast majority of this fortress is actually on layer minus 14, significantly beneath the surface and underneath the aquifer. You, on the other hand, are just taking a tiny little bit of information from my fortress for the sake of throwing incorrect information at me with the attempt of annoying me. And it worked. So you're just being BM, whereas I'm helping people understand how the game's mechanics work. Ain't nothing respectful about that. Respectfully. Out of love, though, my ass. But okay. Sorry, sometimes even I can't keep a straight face with the bullshit that I'm saying. What are we fighting? I guess really what I should do is I should put some cage traps over here. And also over here. Out of mechanisms. Little BM never hurt anybody? Disagree, but... rather hefty disagree, actually. There's a reason it's called BM. It's called bad manners. Bad manners have hurt many people. Why manners exist. No, Lidino. What kind of dwarf would you like? Approximately. V serious close-up cam indeed, yes. You can play it handheld controller style? Damn right. It works so well on a Steam Deck, too. Scrolling down, we got miners with beards and without beards. We've got some animal caretakers. We've got many crafters and weavers and paper makers and various other tasks. We've also got some dwarves in the military and a peasant. Wait, what about bowel movements? Crafter of any kind? Beard or no beard? It's not. It's just been taken, Lumi. But try just refreshing the stream, and if it doesn't work, I have absolutely no control. If something is breaking it, it's probably your browser. Otherwise, I don't know. It works for most people, so adding me with that information, cool. I have absolutely no way to help you. I'm sorry, but I don't. That's all it does is it makes me feel bad. Any crafter with a beard. Gotcha. Let's go with... this woodcrafter. I think that your connection is just not great with Twitch, which is vast majority of the time what causes stuff like that.
Crypt beer.
Murder of Phoenixes, welcome back for a second month. Gotta go get rid of this. Gotta go get rid of this. And then we just need this one. But this particular dwarf here, you think you ran into this issue in your current fort? You have 200-ish radish or spinach in your stockpiles, but you can't select it for cooking and brewing in the kitchen labor menu. Is this a bug, or do your dwarves refuse to eat the spinach? I mean, dwarves will just cook whatever they want to cook based out of the... like, are you saying that they're not cooking that specifically? Have you, like, tried, like, refusing everything else? They might be in barrels and have other items on top, and they can only take the top item out of a barrel. I would say don't worry too much about cooking in Dwarf Fortress, because to quote the developers of Dwarf Fortress, our cooking system is terrible, and if you want a good cooking system, play Caves of Cud. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Like, they'll cook it eventually. Does spinach need to be processed? That's news to me. I had no idea. I mean, I always have processed plants jobs just like automated in the background, so. But yeah, I just wouldn't worry too much about cooking. He's in a constant state of internal rage after experiencing trauma in 259. He is a perfectionist and not driven and rarely feels the need to pursue even a modest success and has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He tends to not be swayed by emotional appeals and takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful. He is curious and eager to learn, and he could be considered rude. And he prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible, and he is very humble. Why is there a line of blood on the floor? I'm going to pause the game until I figure that out. There's also a dead dwarf there. That seems bad. Anyway, he likes a little excitement now and again, like the one that just happened right there. And he prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible, and he can be very humble and has little interest in joking around. His hands are animated when he's surprised, like that there's a body right there. And he needs alcohol to get through the working day and grumbles mildly at crappy weather. Endok. Oh, probably Puffin came back and stabbed him, if I had to guess. Well, that's unfortunate. He believes that acquisition of power over others is the ideal goal in life and worthy of the highest respect, deeply values introspection and self-control, and does not care about family one way or another, and doesn't see cooperation as valuable, and dreams of creating a great work of art. He likes Heliodor, the color mahogany, spears and bucklers and catapult parts, and short fin mako sharks for their speed, and the sound of the phrase of lathering and the sight of the festive sudarum. When possible, prefers to consume tomatillo wine and purple amaranth flower, and absolutely hates large roaches. Welcome to the fort. Also, you're very fat. You have a very long beard that's neatly combed. Sideburns that are clean shaven. Very long mustache that is neatly combed. His hair is clean shaven. His close set, round heliotrope eyes are bulging, and his nose bridge is convex. He has a round chin, and his hair is charcoal. A long, long time ago, in a fortress far away. I played the Long Night mod. Well, that's awkward. Station 2 squads here. Although, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but Long Night mod is cool and all, but Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom mod is better. A lot of these are just zombies. Some of them are not. So this is just going to be absolute chaos when this breaks out. Ice wolves are kind of cool, though. Sure, some of these are just misclicked empties, but that's okay. Some of them might also just be animals. I actually don't know. Guess this is your life now? I envy your life. That seems kind of like a good life to live, to be honest. Red bug is fighting with a something. It was a zombie that came back and it is now a mangled zombie. So it was Endok that died. Let's get these dwarves dealt with. What's up, Praise Sooty name? You wish you had friends that would fall asleep on your shoulder? Yeah, right? It's been years. In years. Let's move them in the area with the bodies. Dwarves are still dragging wood in from the looks of things. But if they're not... Yeah, okay. I think they've got all of the wood inside. That means I can just lock this. Now we underground again. Excellent. I still stand by what I said. Alright, one more of these dwarf groups can just go work out again. Stuff's just getting put into the minecart. Once the minecart's filled, it'll get thrown down. Actually, now I'm wondering. Holy crap! It's just full of undead dogs! Well, that's a little awkward. Should probably pull that lever. I mean, there's no names mentioned. This could be literally anybody that Zwari's talking about, including a person who doesn't exist. We could be talking to somebody about somebody's imaginary friend right now. It's kind of the beauty of the internet. Could literally be... Wow. I think the impact of that hitting actually killed some of the zombie dogs. Oh, it's because it's just zombie dog skin. Okay, so they got crushed by, like... falling bits of undead creature. That's kind of dark. Don't worry about chat's horniness. Old sorry. Wait, what are we talking about, Lumi? I don't understand what you're asking. Well, you said there's a threshold of 1k dwarves in for what? What would there be a threshold for? I don't know what threshold you're talking about. Are we talking about like the death limit? Because that's been removed. Like it got removed in the last patch. You're talking to somebody who has like 10,000 hours in this game. Yes. Like, I had a fort for Halloween a couple of years ago that there was, I think, 3 dwarves that weren't dead in it. And one of them was a child, just because I felt bad. We got young goblin caps sprouting, which is good to see. Did intelligent undead dance? Yes, they do dance. But I could have told you that without building a fort like that. But they do in fact dance. Like, they still have the exact same skills and knowledge as they did before. So if they knew dances before, then they can keep doing the dances. The problem with intelligent undead, though, is they can't learn new things. So I don't think their skills might improve, like crafting skills and whatnot, I think. But like knowledge, so like reading books doesn't give them any benefit. They can't learn new forms of poetry or dances or anything. So if they don't know any dances before they died, I don't think they would dance. But if they, like, say, were dwarves from your fort and knew your faction's dances, then I would assume they would continue to do them, because they did in the past with me. But I think, like, the only occasion where they wouldn't would be if they just didn't know them before they died. Well, they learn magic. They gain the ability to get some magical skills if they are intelligent undead, yes. They don't learn them. They just suddenly have magic. You think the undead should need brains to live? Aw, come on. I like my headless zombie stuff. Bobby the Brainless is just such a fun thing. I don't know. I like headless zombies. It's like a thriller dwarf. Something like that. Someone should, because I certainly don't. Tyler won. Oh, they should eat brain. Oh. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a ghost, though. Like, I remember almost nothing about Harry Potter, but Nearly Headless Nick was a ghost. Even I know that. Very different between a ghost and a zombie. All right, so I think I'm going to put the Baron's quarters around this area down here. I'm going to begin digging. And hopefully the creek doesn't flood Devilish Potato's living area. And I have a question, Potato. Do you want a pool? I don't know why that's like a funny thing to ask, but do you want a pool? Maybe give you a pool. So many dwarves are constructing that nobody can mine. A potato-shaped pool? Why not a devil-ish shaped pool? Also, I got an idea for your bedroom. I'm thinking that your bedroom drops down in here somewhere into here, and I make this shape, but for just one bedroom. So I'm gonna do these stairs so that I have like a thing to fill out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. Except the way I'm gonna do this is I'm going to I'm going to fill it out this way. Could do that. What do you think? Make it slightly bigger. It's funny because that's the exact opposite response when I had when I watched those movies a few years ago. Sorry, it's like someone I used to know forced me to watch, or not forced me, but like people were having a movie marathon in my apartment that I live in. This one, and it was like, all right, we're watching these, and I'm like, great, I guess I'm watching these. And I think I went from like disliking those movies when they were new to fucking hating them. Like, I do not understand why people like those movies. But maybe I'm just a bad person, so what do I know? I've got an idea for this too that's going to be pretty cool once it's dug out. I mean, for me, the only good thing that came out of the Harry Potter movies is the fact that Emma Watson has a career and I get to look at her every now and again. It's like, yes, I get to see Emma Watson in movies sometimes. This is like the one good thing to come out of that. What? She's pretty. Tyler one. It's the same reason that like forever I will respect Superbad. It's like, well, I now know that Emma Stone exists. Are the tigers depressed again? Apparently we're out of sand-bearing items. I've made one block of... That's funny. I've made one block of clear glass. You lost count of how many times you put them on? That's just kids, though. Kids have things they like and they want to see it on repeat, and, you know, I get it. Not by the last ones, which are the last ones that I watched. But yes, she is a child at the beginning of those movies. But those movies gave her an acting career, and she acts in other movies now. Like most of those actors. I'd say the same thing about Daniel Radcliffe. It's like I get to see Daniel Radcliffe as, what's the name of that goddamn movie? Weird, the Weird Al movie. And the other weird-ass things that he acts in these days. Which is why I say that the only good thing to come out of those movies is those actors got a career. I'm weird about saying that. Like Guns of Kim. That is a movie that you... thank you for reminding me that that movie exists. So I'm on Broadway? Wait, what? Daniel Radcliffe was doing Broadway? Huh. Fascinating. I'm just not going to ask questions, Kaylee. No, they're not channel points. They're tickets, which can be found by typing an exclamation point tickets. They predate channel points by like 5 years or something. So I just kind of never got rid of them. I know like nothing about Broadway, so... It's like very much out of my field of awareness or sphere of awareness. I don't know. It's broad and it's away. That's all I really know about it. So what I'm thinking is I go around the edge of this down here. I'm going to channel up. And these up channels are then going to get water filled in from over there. And so the Baron's quarters are going to be surrounded with water. And we could put glass windows or something.
Whoa, dude, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
So that's kind of the plan. I think that'll look pretty cool. We'll let them work on that. You saw Cats? Or as in the movie Cats? The weirdest thing to me about the movie Cats, or actually you're probably talking about the Broadway production of Cats, but the weird thing to me about the movie Cats, yeah, okay, so hold on. Let me talk about the movie Cats for a second here. They patched that movie. They released that movie and then recut it, and people who saw that movie day one saw a slightly different cut of the movie than everybody else who's seen it since. But yeah, the live show and enjoying it makes a lot more sense than watching the movie and enjoying it. No cat buttholes, this is... It's just like Twitch chat. You're allowed to have an animal butt, but no butthole. Streamlabs... Where's Claiborne? God damn it. Streamlabs has bestowed a name upon their silver spear. Claiborne is slacking with the bit today. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to see Cats, you have to see the stage performance. I mean, I saw the original... The first film adaptation of Cats on TV at my grandma's house like a billion years ago, which was just as strange and scarring as the other one that they made. Also, we're going to be releasing a zombie at some point in the near future, so we're going to have to deal with that, I suppose. I don't even know what that is, Heather B. You don't understand how Cats and Phantom of the Opera was made by the same person? Counterpoint. Then how can you possibly understand that George Miller made both Happy Feet and Mad Max? That's weirder to me. It's like Mad Max and Happy Feet. Yeah, they're both George Miller. It makes a lot more sense when you realize that Happy Feet came out when his kid was like 6. It makes a lot more sense when you realize that. It's like, oh, okay. He took a couple of years off of the thrillers, got married, and then had kids, and then made movies for his kids. This makes some sense now. and then went back to making Mad Max movies. What, how Brussels sprouts and broccolis are the same species? Yes, no, I mean... You put Friend to bed? You know, I want you to name a cat Friend or something. You know, if I ever get a pet, I'm gonna just name it Friend. Because I'd be like, I put Friend to bed. There's just something really funny about that. Apparently I have no available mechanisms. I'm just going to make like 5 mechanics workshops. Three, actually. You named it Doggo. Growing up, my parents' cat, who's still alive and he's in his 20s, we named him Papageno. So for short, we'd always call him Puppy. Yep, and this is why the same pests eat all of them, Knob. Fucking cabbage worms are bane of my goddamn existence as a gardener. Hate those things. I grow cabbage and kale, and these stupid green caterpillars go after them. At least on my back patio when I grow them on my patio. When I grow them in my garden plot, the wasps, there's plenty of wasps and hornets everywhere, and they love eating those little, like, it's kind of great. Like, last summer I was sitting in my garden plot and watering and whatnot, and I watched this hornet, like this big fucking hornet, come over, land on one of my cabbages, crawl down around the bottom of the cabbage, and come out with 4 cabbage worms in its hands and then fly away. It was like, whoa. They're like the goddamn murder Apaches of the insect world. I'm going to run a real quick ad and use the toilet because the game's saving. Back in a sec. Bees are awesome. I love bees. I get so annoyed, though, because there's so many people that are so uneducated about bees. Bees are wonderful creatures, and we need them. And then it's like, it's a bee. It's like, no, that's a wasp, and also wasps are good, too. I mean, I've talked about this on stream many times before, but my actual goal in life, is pretty simple. I want to be able to keep podcasting and making YouTube videos and streaming, and I want to make enough money to be able to buy a small amount of property, and I know it's probably never going to happen in this economy, lol. But the actual goal is to buy a small amount of property so that I can have bees and either quail or chickens, depending on how much property I have. Or both if I have enough property. A vile force of darkness has arrived and appears to be a small one. I'm just going to let them get caught in my traps. I'm not even going to worry about it. Hornets are wonderful, but you have to give them your space. There's a really good, like, graph that I found on Reddit once. I want to say it was on the Gardeners subreddit. But it's literally just, like, it's a picture of a bee. Or it's a bumblebee. It's like, nice friend, doesn't sting generally, and pollinates plants. And then it's like, honeybee, nice friend, stings sometimes, give it space, pollinates plants, makes honey. And then it's like, wasp, nice friend, needs lots of space, eats pests, pollinates plants, doesn't make honey. And then it's like, hornet, nice friend, needs a large berth of space akin to a bear. Protects plants from predators and all these other things. It's just like referring to them as friends. It's like some of them are just shy though, and they need their space. So far you have 3 acres. Well, you're winning. I have 424 square feet, or 38.9 square meters. It's literally never gonna happen. I would make those into mead. Whoop. The undead foot that was in the creek seems to have crawled out and gotten booped. I've heard that, yeah. That cocaine bear is entertaining. It's on the to see list. Paper wasps are generally fine. They just don't like it if you touch their nests. Which, frankly, I don't blame them. What a fucking banger. Oh, it looks like they're fighting with ice wolves. Undead ice wolves, of course. Well, they killed one. It's also albatross. Yeah, ticks are awful. Terrible creatures. Yeah, everything I've heard about Cocaine Bear is that it's campy enough, but not too campy, which makes me go, yep, I will definitely go see that at some point. Also, I've been listening to a podcast that is very much a movie watch podcast where they watch a movie a week and then talk about it. And their podcast, the movie they watched this past week was Johnny Mnemonic, which is the most recent movie I've watched now. It's a movie with Keanu Reeves in it. Good movie? I don't know if I'd say good movie, but it was very entertaining. Oh, we've got a ghost stealing stuff. Probably deal with it by simply placing these slabs. And it appears that a dwarf is making a clothing artifact. That movie, like, once again just confirms to me that Keanu Reeves is much more of a physical actor than a actor. Like, he's really good at physical. Like, if they tell you, if you tell Keanu Reeves to just, like, look like you're in pain, very convincing. You tell Keanu Reeves to show any format of emotion, and it's like talking to a cardboard wall. It's like, you might as well just get a cardboard cutout of Keanu Reeves and tell him to act, because it's about the same. Do you think it would be worth downloading the pre-Steam version to play adventure mode? If you're curious, yeah. I mean, it does stand on its own, but just keep in mind that the last major release version of adventure mode is missing a lot, is like just straight up missing key features that were planned to be released in early 2020 and didn't make it into a release build. So just keep in mind, like, quests aren't completable and such. But like, if you know your way around ASCII roguelikes, yeah, it's worth trying. It's a neat sandbox. But just know that, like, saves aren't compatible with version 50 or anything, so. Kevin Costner? I would say Keanu Reeves is a better actor than Kevin Costner, but Satchmo, thanks for the 7th month. Welcome back. Cheers, dude. I'll solo Fallen Kingdoms. See you as well. Thanks to everybody who tuned in for like this weird off-hours stream. I wasn't sure how many people would tune in, but in version 47, everything is moddable, so you can download one of a billion tile sets. Any font you want, any tile set you want. Yeah, that level of modding capability hasn't worked its way back into premium yet, which kind of sucks. But yeah, if you want to use Comic Sans for like dyslexia reasons or whatever, yeah, you could. So this is going to be Baron's dining room, this is going to be Baron's throne room, and this is going to be Baron's bedroom. I very rarely play with mods. I don't think Dwarf Fortress needs them in the slightest. Most of them just kind of add stuff the game doesn't need. Game's already got plenty of variety. Like, we're talking about one of the most varied, well, like, replayable games ever made, so. The only mods I really like are overhaul mods that completely change the game, and none of the ones that I like have been updated, with the exception of Long Night, but it doesn't have a tile set, so I would want to play it with a tile set, because if I suddenly jump back to pure ASCII, I think I would alienate a lot of the people watching. Also, I have a hard time playing the current version's ASCII, because you can't zoom in. So it wouldn't be very fun for me either. I'd have to do some, like, monitor fuckery to unlike lower my resolution to actually be able to read what I'm looking at. Oh, you relearn them? I don't even consider that a mod, but okay. It's like a slight graphical tweak. I don't consider graphics changes mods. For clarity's sake, when it comes to Dwarf Fortress specifically, a like visual tweak, I don't consider to be a mod at all. What's up, Frinkies? It's a funky looking pattern of ramps. I've been staring at that for a minute, Metalhead, and I don't get it. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I feel like it must be a reference to something, but it's a reference I certainly am not getting. Alright, well, that's gonna get done in a sec. Oh, didn't I make a... I swear I made an artifact bet at one point. Maybe I'm making that up. Whatever. Dances with Wolves quote? Definitely a quote that bounced off my head. I choose to believe you, though. Because otherwise, that's something I don't need to know. It's strange how some quotes just stick with us and some just like vanish off into the ether, though. That's definitely one that's vanished off. Like, I've seen Dances with Wolves, but don't remember that quote. But I'm also glad I'm not the only person who doesn't remember that quote. Oh, we've named a shield. Fem, what kind of dwarf would you like? So I think Farmer Fem is no longer with us. Just let me double check. Yeah. What's up? You've usurped Lumi Blade, who's been trying to get one all day. Beardless farmer? I've got a beardless plenty of things. Mason? Maybe not, because there's not a lot of specified masons. You need to be a miner then. I do have an engraver and 2 stone carvers, and then for farmers, yeah, definitely. Plenty of planters, including a legendary one, who's currently smelting tetrahedrite. So what do you think? I believe you, Lumi, but it's funny because like I have a little thingy that previews links for me, right? If I hover over them in Twitch chat, and it doesn't say anything else, no context. It just says the name of the channel that uploaded it, the number of likes it has, and the number of views it has, and the video is just titled, "I've just pissed my pants." It's like, that doesn't exactly help. I'm assuming that's a scene from the movie, but like, just look at that. I'm just like, I mean, that doesn't really make it better. But I choose to believe you. Beardless planter. Farmer Fem, you're currently hauling tetrahedrite. She is truly fulfilled by assisting those in need, and she has a calm demeanor. She is very humble, and she can handle stress. She has a greedy streak, and she is somewhat quarrelsome. She is bothered by this, since she values friendship, and she tries to do things correctly each time. She does not mind wearing something special now and again, and she tends to form only tenuous emotional bonds with others, and she isn't particularly interested in what others think of her. And she tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects, and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Just got out of D&D. Well, I'm glad you're free, finally. I hope you survived. Sounds horrible. She, personally views any show of emotion as offensive, values tranquility and a peaceful day, and finds artwork boring, and respects the development of a skill and dreams of crafting a masterwork. Someday. She likes olivine, electrum, coral, coconut palm wood, white browed gibbon leather, cow horn and coral, and thrones and goblets, and the sound of the russet meadow, and the sight of the festive suitor, and when possible prefers to consume silvery gibbon and maize beer and shit. I just forgot about something that I needed to check in on. Hope I'm not letting zombies into the basement. And the silvery gibbon and maize beer, and absolutely hates worms. She was euphoric due to inebriation and satisfied at work. And then visually, her hair is clean shaven, her cobalt eyes are slightly rounded, her pale brown skin is wrinkled, and her hair is brown with flecks of gray. Most dwarves are pretty complicated. Oh wow, I did actually straight up just dig into this. I mean, that was the point, but... not unless you change a setting in the game's settings options knob. But by default, no. But if that's your headcanon, you can allow for that. It's a terrifyingly large amount of undead shit. Or dead shit down here. There's no way to kill the source of the evil biome. There's two types of evil biomes. There's ones that just naturally come out of towers and evil things. And then there's ones like this one, which are just there. But you can't kill the source in either situation, not currently. We need the map rewrite for that to be a thing. Really want to clean this cavern layer, but also I really don't think it's worth it. So you should turn around, Dwarf. What an odd place to clean. A gremlin? Drive it away. Really now? Hello, gremlin. Bye there, gremlin. Okay, he made it out. I can lock that door. Perfect. You're going to go charge headphone, charge headphones for bed. Gotcha. Well, we'll see when you get back. Thinking I put a pasture of dogs here. Or a dog pen, I guess would be the better wording to use here. Any tips on dealing with a monster composed of fame, facing them hand to hand? I mean, if your dwarves have shields, they should be able to just kill it. Creatures composed of flame are like glass cannons. They're super, super, super scary, theoretically, but if you can just, like, smack them, they're probably just going to immediately die. So, like, your best bet is to just hit them. But at the same time, like, you might want to keep it at a distance if you can. Bro, what? Mop 60 plus? Okay. I mean, I don't know what it is. It depends on what types of creature it is. You asked for tips. And so I gave you my tip. If it just happens to be a really, really broken one, then your second best bet is to try and fight it from a distance or let other creatures deal with it. Surrounded in a tunnel and can't hit it? Okay. Well, here's the next thing. If it's on things that can burn and it can cause smoke, dwarves can't get past it, right? So they can't pass through smoke. So fight on rock, ideally with water around it, because they can get through steam, but they can't get through smoke. Cave in the ceiling, lock a door behind it. Like, I got on my YouTube channel. I'm going to show a... Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've had Forgotten Beasts composed of flame that just, like, explode instantly. So it highly depends on, like, what kind of creature it is. This creature in this short is, like, fucking throwing fireballs and shit. But the way we killed it was by standing in, like, this one deep water area. And then its water was like a non-concern, except this dwarf just got punted across the wall, which was just funny. But like, it couldn't damage us because its fire just kept going out immediately. Their water bottles were blowing up in the heat. Yeah, honestly, I probably would just let it fight another creature. But yeah, what kind of creature is it? Because if it's like a blob composed of flame, it's like, it'll just pop. If it's like, I don't know, a humanoid or like a Dimetrodon or like a dinosaur or something that's actually scary, then yeah, it's going to be pretty fucking difficult to deal with. It's a quadruped? Okay, so quadrupeds are like one of the scariest Forgotten Beast variants. Just flat. Just like straight up. One of the scariest possible Forgotten Beast types you could get. So in that instance, my advice would be don't fight it. Run. And hide if you can. But yeah, that's like the only real idea I have. Probably. I had one that was composed of snow that apparently had 1,000-something kills. And we killed it in like, I don't know, one hit. Which is just funny. Like, I don't know how you acquired all these kills, creature, but you're dead now anyway. Oh. Sucks to be Fraser over here. My test, getting spooked by the dead. Satisfied at work, but horrified after being haunted by the dead. All right, let's get Good night, Darren, if you're heading to bed. You'd think it would be unkillable. You'd think, but clearly not. Let's see if I can make these trees grow. That one should grow eventually. Uh-oh. Ah, ghost has been put to rest. I don't think that there are any, like, unkillable reforming beasts in Dwarf Fortress. I mean, since we're talking about Forgotten Beasts, the scariest Forgotten Beast I ever had was a web-spitting horse made of steel. It was literally just like, well, kiss the whole fort goodbye. And ever since then, I've always been very careful to just, like, make sure that I have an impenetrable way of sealing off the caverns at a moment's notice. Or I just leave them sealed off now. Because it's just not worth losing a whole fort, like, immediately. Web-spitting flying monster made of steel is one of the worst. Yes. Not one. I'm pretty sure that, like, what, pterodactyl? A web-spitting pterodactyl made of steel would probably be about as bad as you could possibly get. There's a pretty cool little area over here. Winged spider? Yeah, that would also be terrifying. Although I think a pterodactyl would be worse than a spider. The thing about spiders in Dwarf Fortress is they operate the way actual spiders work, which means they're hydraulic. So once you cut them, they start to slow down. Which gives you kind of a massive advantage against them. I don't think you can have adamantine forgotten beasts. Like, just straight... I don't think that's possible, actually. With what purpose, though, Spike? Like, what's the reason for farming the dust? Let's go down to military. Am I really out of weapon racks? Apparently I am. I thought I had more. All right. Armor stands. Armor stands. Armor stands. No, but, like, I'm pretty sure you couldn't have a dust breather made of adamantine. Like, just, that is not a material that can be made into a Titan-style creature. It's like there was somebody on the... I can't remember who this was on the Discord, so apologies. But there was somebody on the Discord who was saying that they now understood my warnings of do not, like, have just ludicrously powerful creatures in your world because they will just show up and suddenly everything will be dead. As an example, where was Devilish's bedroom? As an example, they... Oh, there you are. As an example, they had a non-bronze colossus made of steel that had 1,000 kills and counting. It's like, yeah, why would you even put that? Like, a bronze colossus is strong enough. At least a bronze colossus is killable. So this is going to be the Queen's, or not the Queen, the Baron's dining hall. This is going to be given to the Baron. Iron, ooh, that would be pretty terrifying. Blobs are hysterical as long as they're made out of non-resilient materials. The second they're made out of a resilient material, it's like, uh-oh. Like, I had a, oh man, what was it? It was, I want to say it was like silver? I think it was a silver blob. And I remember it had a shell. It didn't have any special abilities. It was just a silver blob. And I remember going, oh, it's just a blob. It's fine. And it got like 12 kills because I wasn't paying attention. And then I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And there's this like dead dwarf. There's just this wall of dead dwarves. I was like, I thought the military had it because I just told them to go kill it and then just like forgot about it. But yeah, no, it was just crushing them. It was just like a homing sphere. It was just like rolling, 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 bang! It was like just crushing things. It's kind of horrific. Starship Troopers. I kind of. I played Amorphous Plus. I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's related to the to the rolling murder ball, though, based on the context of the conversation. So no, I have not. My brain auto-corrected that to Animorphs as well. I don't know if that's a positive or not. Yeah, I don't care until reviews are out for that. In regards to them making a new Starship Troopers shooter, I refuse to believe that that will be anything more than absolute dog shit. I mean, the RTS, the Starship Troopers RTS was fine. I would hesitate to even call it great. It was fine. It was like a 6 out of 10, so. I'm not going to have much more faith in a FPS based on the track record of Starship Troopers FPSs. A wave-like? Why do we have so many dumb names for Horde mode games now? What the fuck's a wave-like? A wave-type game. You mean a Horde mode game? Like, we've always called those? That's all on you? Uh-huh. I mean, I like Wave Race. Wave Race is pretty cool. I would like more Wave Race-like games, but I don't think that's what you meant. Well, it's a type of game where people you like leave? Oh, no, that's just my life. I don't need a video game adaptation of that. People I like just stop giving a shit very quickly. Oops. You just described my life with one word, Cerniv. I was doing these. Too real? It's not wrong. Wave-like without the vapor? Nah, I'm good. I can't get over wave-like game. Sorry, I'm gonna be teasing you about that one for a bit because that's too funny. Everything is going to be a wave-like game now. I mean, obviously, you know, Left 4 Dead is a prime example of a wave-like game. But I would still argue that, of course, Wave Race is the pinnacle of the wave-type game. To see caverns again? Well, I mean, you could go look at my YouTube video, but you click and drag farms. You start on a layer where you can build farms, and you just scroll down. What do you want? You want amulets. You know, I'll be honest, I don't know what Plants vs. Zombies is anymore, so maybe? I don't know. I'm pretty sure bullet hells are bullet hells. I don't think they need a different name associated with them. All right, so waiting on that one final wall piece right there. And then I'm just going to dig this in. We're going to start the flow. Dwarf Fortress is a wave-like if you're on the coast. This is the most valid statement that's been made in my chat in the last 10 minutes. What? I refer to something as a wave-like? Make it onto a podcast episode? I mean, I just like calling everything Strand-type games because that's still the funniest shit ever to me. Death Stranding is the first ever Strand-type game. That's not a thing. You doofus. I don't care how much of an auteur you consider yourself, but a Strand-type game doesn't exist. No, he said, what are you doing? Come on, baby Blueford. Get with the program. World's a wave type game. Speaking of what are you doing? What are you doing over here, Dwarf? Outrunning water, I see? Okay, well that's good. Well, Baron is going to have a lovely space down here, full of water surrounding their snoozing space. Strand type. I think that Kojima's actual definition for strand type was like the kind of like asymmetric multiplayer. Well, not asymmetric. That's the wrong word. The kind of persistent online multiplayer that Death Stranding had, where people would work together to slowly acquire bigger buildings and constructible items. I'm pretty sure that's what Kojima's take on a Strand-type game was. Doesn't change the fact that it's goofy beyond all reason. All right, so this up here is going to be office. And we're going to do gem windows. Or it's more like gem-lined walls. Just making waves, sir. Yeah. And then what's that on your head? I don't know, but I'm all about it. Alright, so this is going to be Baron's office. And just needs a tomb. We could put back here even. Well, you obviously don't have 999999999999999999999 tickets, so the bot's just going to ignore you. And then back up here, I'm going to make a small stockpile for food and drinks. You should be able to redeem tickets for something? No, you shouldn't. You get tickets for watching the stream, that's it. It's an old system. I'm not going to add to it. And I don't feel like making more work for myself for no real benefit. If you don't like it, just completely ignore them. Same like channel points? I kind of like channel points, but existed about a decade before channel points. That's almost not an exaggeration. Okay, so the one thing I still need to make for the Baron is a tomb. But yeah, the main difference is you get you get tickets for watching this stream, and it's just done through my bot. Unlike channel points where it's done through Twitch. That's going to be the tomb. No, actually, they took the idea for channel point redemptions from a porn site. Just like bits. Most of the features and things that you see on Twitch existed on adult streaming services more than a decade before Twitch had them. But the reason Twitch got channel points was because Microsoft's platform Mixer had them, and Twitch got all FOMO-y and then added channel points for them. In this context, no. But refresh my memory, Metalhead. Your bedroom looks like a crown. Kind of. But yeah, no, the joke on Twitch was that when they added bits, one of the first things that I heard somebody say is, wow, so I guess we're getting all of the insert name of website here that I'm not going to advertise on Twitch because it is just straight up pornography. But I will say that it rhymes with buy me hams. Anyway, it's like, oh, we're just getting all of the features from this website. So when is Twitch going to add sub-only streams? And like a year later, Twitch added sub-only streams, which was funny. But nobody uses those because they're kind of a waste of brain space. No, Microsoft owned Mixer, which was a Twitch competitor, which was originally called Beam.me, which was a much better brand. But then they renamed it to Mixer. And then it existed for a bit, I suppose. It's weird that it says the depth from the layer above with that on. That's funny. Beam me? I guess. No, that's not what it was though. It was literally Beam. Was a good name. The Guild of Laborers has many members in Waterlungs and now requires a guild hall. Well, I suppose I'll actually give it to them this time. I love how it's like immediately assigned to some random dwarf. It's like, no, game, this is going to somebody who matters. Not you. Not anybody else. But to the dwarf that matters. Twitch has existed as Twitch, I think, since 2011. But before that, it was a website called Justin TV, where a dude named Justin streamed his life 24/7. Which is really funny when people are just like, man, I wish Twitch would return to just being a gaming website. It's like originally Twitch was just a weird IRL streaming site for like one rich dude. So, yeah, no. Well, I mean, it certainly was better branding than Mixer was. Mixer was just terrible branding all around. So much scorched earth up here. I mean, it was his website, so yeah, it was just one guy allowed to stream because it was his website. If you make a website, nobody else is allowed to use it. Originally, Twitch was literally just one dude's website that he then sold to an investment firm, and it was renamed Twitch and became a site that other people could stream on. And then after that was eventually picked up by Amazon and then made into one of the most popular websites in the world. But it wasn't until like the Amazon buyout that the site actually like grew, really. All undead creatures are gelded, regardless of if they were actually gelded or not, because they can't breed. The game just automatically lists them as gelded. We're gearing up for another arena fight. But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny. A lot of people talk about how, like, oh, Twitch should be better now. It's like, you should have seen what it was. It's like, yeah, of course, every website should improve. And of course, there's plenty of ways where Twitch could be better. But man, you should have seen what this site was a couple of years ago. Because it was hysterically bad for a very long time. No Dwarf for you tonight. It's time for bed. We'll see you tomorrow, though. Oh my god, there's an aquifer here. Wow. Actually, I'm curious about something. Okay, so the ocean is actually quite high up. Yeah, this fort kind of looks like a mess in ASCII, though. Kind of hard to parse. Oh, there's a ghost. Keeping those trained. Checking the surface cages. Man, I really wish that we could get some living ice wolves. I keep on seeing ice wolves in my cages and getting all excited, and then, oh, it's a corpse. Damn it. I just want a living ice wolf. It's a shame. It's a goddamn shame, man. It's like Neo looking at the code. Except I'm probably better at acting. I mean, what? Dude's a national treasure, but man, there's moments. There's moments where it's like, you have no idea what you're doing. Export of... I like this Baron. I'm not... I had to make them some amulets, and now I'm not allowed to export tables. Fuck yeah. Nice and simple. All right, chat. I'm getting a little drowsy here, and I have to go make myself some dinner and get a decent night's sleep tonight so that I can stream tomorrow at the normal time. So I'm thinking we call it. I want you guys to say goodbye, YouTube. And then wake up, because we're going to go raid somebody. How's that sound? Yeah, this was an off-hours stream for me. I mean, what, almost 5 hours? Worsen? No. No, I'm going to bed. It's my bedtime in an hour and a half. I'd like to not fall back. Besides, you're going to bed anyway, so you should just go to bed, Lumi. You're the one who should be going to bed. Not, you literally were just like, I'm going to bed, no door for me tonight. Eurus McJerby. Hi, Jerby. But, you're gonna go eat cereal, no bed. Well, I'll be back on in 12 hours, for whatever that's worth. Why did that not work? Oh, it's because you misspelled sandwich.
Sandwich!
There you go. I was like, why did that not work? It's because you misspelled sandwich. Yeah, so we'll be on in 12 hours. So if you're just eating cereal, pop back in 12 hours because I'll be turning the stream on then. But I know who we're going to go raid, so I'm going to just put on some music.